Yo, people, apologies for the delay. Obviously, we're waiting for GRIZZ as well, but I thought I'll start the show myself today before I bring the rest of the lads in. They're all in the green room behind. So we will start the show pretty soon. But as I said in the voice note the other day on the other show on Thursday night, you know what I'm going through. You know what I've been going through over the last couple of weeks, hence why I haven't been on the show. Love for the love people, love for all the support, the messages. I still haven't gone through all of them. I'm going to continue going through them. And like I said, I'll reply to every single one. I even check my emails and I've got a few emails too. So just bear with me, people. Obviously, family comes first. So being there for my mum and sister and granddad as well. That's the main thing for me. But trust me, all the messages, all the comments, the emails, all of that, it has helped me get back to where I am now, back in front of a camera and delivering content again. So hope everyone's enjoyed the shows whilst I've been gone. They've been bangers, to say the least. Big up Matisse, like I said, for hosting them. Love to him because he sorted out a lot of the behind the scenes stuff as well as extra as well. He's done a lot of hard work there. Big up the rest of the lads, HUGH, SAEED, TOBS and GRIZZ, and all the Arsenal reps that have filled in. Shuray was trying to take my job in the couple of shows that he did on the Big Six, but big him up as well, man. A top guy. But listen, I thought I'd start the show myself because on Thursday's show in the voice note, I did reach out, make an appeal for donations towards the earthquake survivors in Turkey and in Syria as well. And the reception has been so mad that I expected maybe a couple hundred at best. You've raised £2,879 and 10 pence. £2,879 and 10 pence. The exchange rate is so low in terms of Turkish lira and the Syrian currency too, that goes such a long way for the people that have survived the earthquakes. Obviously, there's a lot of deaths. It's reached 40K. It's almost double what was mentioned on Thursday's show. And I haven't yet distributed all the money. My cousin went over to Turkey on Saturday afternoon times. I returned from Cyprus on Sunday, but I gave him £800. Obviously, I took it at the cash point, and I gave him £800 to take with him over there to distribute to who he believes needs it most and who he sees that needs it. So he's taken £800 of that. There was also regular lorries going from different areas of Cyprus to Turkey directly. So what I did on Friday is go out and spend £500 on baby clothes, jackets, not just baby, but little kids and toddlers too, jackets, bottles, milk formula, socks, hats, scarves, gloves, because the weather conditions are appalling out there. So I rounded up all of those goods and I brought them to the drop-off point. I helped out over there as well for a couple of days. So £500 of that has gone towards that donation there. And I also got linked to a lady in London, a Syrian lady in London who is helping the cause in Syria as well. Obviously, there's a lot of sanctions. There's a lot of blocks on goods going into Syria. So it's been very difficult to find the cause that will really hit home in terms of getting it to the people that really matter. I mentioned not trusting charities myself. I'm not saying you shouldn't trust charities. I'm just saying myself, because I just feel like over the years, I've just seen things and heard things that doesn't really bode well in terms of where the donations go in full. So I also gave £500 to her and her fundraising cause, which will go towards the people in Syria that need it the most as well. And she's keeping me up to date with how that will be spent and where that will go and all of that stuff. So I'll have more information for everyone that's donated, everyone that watches the show in the next week, in the next 2 weeks. I'll keep everyone up to date, whether it be here, whether it be on Instagram. That's the main social platform for me. So far I've spent 1,800 of it, and there's just over £1,000 left as well. I'm just waiting for PayPal to release the funds in a sense, and then I'll decide where the rest of it goes. I'll keep you up to date. It's mad because you'd have to trust, like the trust shown in me to donate £2,800 is mad. Hand on heart, you can trust that it's going to the cause, and hand on heart, I'm trying my best to make sure it goes to the right people and directly to them as well. So I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to remove my PayPal link from the last show at the end of this show, because I feel like a lot's been raised, and I'll leave the charity link there as well. So if people do want to continue donating, then donate to those charities that I put in the description, because over the course of the last 4 or 5 days, through Turkish friends, Turkish Cypriot friends, Syrian friends, I've been told the best charities that will deliver in terms of donations. So listen, first and foremost, just big up everyone. Big up everyone. I see a lot of people saying big up me. It's got nothing to do with me. Yes, I reached out, but the support has been, man, £2,800. I could have never imagined that it would reach that amount. Like I said, I expected a couple hundred. I expected that to all go to my cousin. But when I received what I received over the course of 2-3 days after that show, I just thought, you know what, let me distribute it here and there. And that's what I've done, and that's what I'm going to continue doing over the next couple of weeks, people. There will be a drive on AFTV as well coming up, if not this week, then next week. But love for the love, love for the love. Like I said, I always say it, I always mean it. And I mean it more than ever now, not only for the cause in Turkey and Syria, but all of the comments, all of the messages that I've received over the last couple of weeks. It's been mad, people. So I really appreciate that. It is late. I know it's later in other countries across the world too, and people were tuning in wherever you're tuning in from. So we're going to get the show started now, people. Hope you enjoy. And I'm back in the hot seat. So yeah, we move. Bottom left is back to bottom left. Let's go.
Listen, that's all that is. My brother.
Boss man.
Big dog.
Big dog.
Big dog. Come on. My
Love
brother.
you, man.
Big
Love
up.
Lovely, man. More applause for the applause is more for the people out there that have donated as well and sent
100.
messages and continued supporting the show, because like I said, a couple £100 is what I expected, and we received a hell of a lot more than that. So I'm going to continue distributing it accordingly, people. But the Big Six community is special. It is special. But yeah, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. I didn't give you the usual how's it going, people, but yeah, here we are. How's it going, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Big Six. It's good to be back. And yeah, over the last couple of weeks, Arsenal haven't really helped the cause. They haven't won a game in my absence. Going out in the FA Cup against City, losing to Everton, and now drawing to Brentford, and now we've got
Ain't easy.
Horizon.
Ain't
It ain't easy. It ain't easy. But hopefully I am that good luck charm, and hopefully Wednesday brings back a turnaround in fortunes. But we'll see, and we're going to get into it all, people. We might as well start on Arsenal, because I haven't been around in a little while. Before we do, there's a few super chats that have come in. And whilst I was talking earlier, so I'm going to get them ones in. Hideaway says, glad to have you back, Turkish. Condolences for your loss. Rest in peace, Nan. Love. The ops want to see Arsenal fans in a meltdown. It's important we stick together and back the boys on Wednesday versus Man City. No meltdown yet. No meltdown yet. Yet being the key word, because, you know, we've opened the door over the last couple of weeks, and it's not a door that you open to this Manchester City team, but hopefully, like I said, Wednesday changes shit around for us. Shit, that the super chats are coming in thick and fast. Let me just make sure these are saved. Sorry, people. Apologies. I'm a bit rusty. And as Matisse has told you, like, it ain't easy to keep up sometimes. It ain't easy to keep up. So.
He's been enjoying flicking them, haven't you, Matisse? He's enjoying it.
Cool.
Listen, I'm very happy to see you back, of course. But I'm extra happy because I've been getting abused up, bruv.
I see it, Chris. I've never called you a donkey before, have I?
Bruv, man, come on, man. Like, you know what I mean? My little brother in the bottom left over there. Like, Toby was the one, like, yeah, stupid and donkey and all of that. But we here. Long season, we here.
Yeah. Very long season.
We here.
Long season for you, like,
I told you, like,
man.
I was the supply teacher, and things were kicking off, and you know the class wasn't behaving, so I had to respond. You know, it's not easy.
Okay.
You're the youngest though, so how are you meant to be the one that's gonna do this? You're the youngest, so how are you meant to be the one that's meant to be the
Listen,
authority?
don't ask me. I don't know the maths.
He
It's
lost
just
his
how
head.
it-
He
it's
lost
just
his
how
head.
it
He
is.
lost his head. It happens. He's still my little brother. I still love him.
My young G, my young G.
All hell has broken loose since I've been away. It is what it is. Like I said, big up Matisse. It ain't easy to keep control of
It ain't
over
easy.
5,000 people twice a week. But yeah, we move. He even said he forgot he called you a donkey. That's how rattled he was in that show.
I don't remember him genuinely.
But yeah, let me see. Dial Square says, welcome back, Turkish. Stay strong, my bro. Love to your family. Rest in peace, your grandma, and prayers for the earthquake victims. Please, everyone in the chat, send even a small donation for this terrible tragedy. Listen, Dial Square, appreciate the words. Appreciate the words. Everyone that sent £5, £10, 15, 20, up to £100. Like I said, the exchange rate is so mad that even £5 goes a long way. But I'll put the charity links back in the description of this one, not my PayPal anymore, because I've raised so much that I'm even having to find out places to put it, which I will be doing, even if it's doubling up on the places that I've put it already. So love for the love. But yeah, we move. Boogeyman says, we love you, Turkish. Big up. Come on, G. I love the Big Six community too, and you've been a big part of that from the beginning. Shanok says, this super chat is for Turkish and Turkish alone. Big up to you. Also get a more sensible United fan on. Joke, mad fan of SAEED. Come on, man. Come on. This is the team, people. There's no replacing anyone. I see a petition on a recent show about Shiroi should be the permanent Arsenal rep here. What do you want me to do then? Want me to retire? I don't understand. But look out for extra, people. Look out for extra. We've got Tosin there as well. But Shiroi will be a big part of the Big Six moving forward as well. Doing content on my channel. He's got his channel coming out soon. So look out for that. The Shah says, never sent a super chat in my life, but that intro is legendary. I will forward the charities in my Indian Canadian groups. Big up Turkish. Love for that, man. Love for that. Really appreciate the super chat as well. And it's not only, obviously, I forgot to mention, it's not only the donations that have been going on. I've obviously used my own personal funds as well to donate. I've donated clothes and I've donated anything that I could possibly donate over the last 4 or 5 days, bearing in mind I've had a funeral to deal with and family to be there for. I've just tried my best and I'll continue trying my best, people. Praying for Turkey and Syria. Good to see you back, Turkish. Very good to see. Big up Turkish, says Sam. We have been thinking of you, brother. Boys held down the fort, but never the same without you. Love for the love, my guy. Love for the love. Turkish, you're an honorable man. Big up the Big Six community for the fundraising. Sorry for your loss, my brother. I feel your pain. And listen, if there's any one of you that donated out there that wants to see some proof, obviously, in terms of the cash to my cousin, there's very little proof of that. But like I said, I went out shopping on Friday in Cyprus and I've got all the receipts from that. So if anyone wants to message me privately for further proof, or if anyone doesn't trust me and wants to, raise a query with PayPal, you're more than welcome to do that, because trusting someone in this day and age is not an easy thing to do. That's why I thought I'll start the show myself and get it kicked off with how I've kind of used the funds already. Love Turkish and the Big Six community, and shout out to Matisse for being the host with the most and all of the Arsenal boys stepping in. Come on, CeeLo. Come on. Dale says, first ever super chat, Turkish. Big respect. Still showing love for others whilst dealing with your own pain. True G, shout out to all of you guys. Come on, you Gunners. Yeah, it ain't easy, man. Turkish, good to see you back, bro. Everyone needs to calm down with Arsenal. Let's not overreact. City is a must-win and the perfect game to bounce back. And I think in terms of the big up Turkish, hope you well. Blue Moon, my guy, love for the love, man. We'll see each other Wednesday, obviously, not necessarily in person, but, the teams. Let's get into it. Like I said, we might as well start with Arsenal. It's been a little while since I've been here. We've lost 2, drawn 1, and we've signed Jorginho since I've last been on the show. So, yeah, where do we begin? Where do you guys want to begin? Should we begin with the Brentford one?
Lee Mason. I don't
know. I don't want to begin with Lee Mason because then people might think that I'm putting it on Lee Mason. We know what the refereeing standards are like, and we know that shit needs to be done there. And don't get it twisted, that goal should have been offside. I was watching it in Cyprus on beIN Sports, obviously. That's the sports channel over there. And They didn't even check that offside. They was checking Pinnock on Gabriel, and after that check was complete, that was it. And I was surprised by that because I thought they would check the last phase of play before Tony got the ball. And afterwards, the day after, coming out to admit that it was a wrong call doesn't really help. You know, you don't get the points back. And at the end of the season, if we were to lose the title by 1 or 2 points, then we'll think of this moment. We might think of the Martinelli disallowed goal against United. Surprise, surprise, Lee Mason again there. But we're not the only team that have to deal with poor officiating. I'm sure I can go around here and everyone's got an example of wrongdoing against their clubs from these dead officials. Let's be honest, no accountability. They get paid a lot. It's one of the sweetest jobs going, if you ask me, because in any other walk of life, in any other business, if you make mistakes that big, that cost that much, you'd be seeing the exit door, or you'd be reprimanded at the very least, a disciplinary process. But it seems that these refs have it easy over here. So, you know, best league in the world, they need to up the levels of the officiating, in all honesty. But overall, I think when I look at the last 3 games, Manchester City won. Some rotation there, and don't get it twisted, City rotated as well. I thought we done quite well to be in the game, but Man City deserved the win in the end. 1-0, knocked out of the FA Cup. It's the Everton and Brentford ones I look at, the low blocks, and I start to ask myself, is this us missing Jesus now? And I think it is, because as much as Eddie gets the goals, more often than not, they're put on a plate for him. And this ain't me getting onto Eddie's back, because he has scored us goals and he has won us games. That Man United one being the key one as well, our last win. But I just think when it comes to a low block, you need a player like Jesus to kind of disrupt the organization in the opposition defense, to pull defenders out, create that space in behind. Hence why Martinelli's kind of dropped off in form to even Xhaka. I look at Martinelli and Xhaka as 2 key players leading up to the World Cup who have failed to replicate their form going into it. And that's heavily down to Jesus' absence, in my opinion. I also look at Felix at Chelsea, and this ain't reactionary. I know Felix scored a goal for Chelsea and he's played well in his 2 games, albeit the red card in the first one. But I really do wish we went in for Felix, because as much as 11 million is a considerable fee for a loan, when you're going for a league title, 11 million is nothing. I'm not too concerned about Mudryk. I don't know much about Mudryk, and he might turn out to be a great player. That is what it is. I like the Trossard signing, and Trossard got the goal against Brentford. I just feel like in the transfer window, we really rested on our laurels in certain positions, and up front being one of them. So, yeah, I think the Jesus absence has been so key to the drop off in not only performances, but the drop off in creating good quality chances as well in the last 2 games, because we haven't deserved anything out of the last 2 games. Let's be honest. Even Brentford in that first half, they had us on the ropes. If Tony had his shooting boots on, then they would have probably gone into half time 1 or 2-0 up at least. But yeah, sign of a champion. You hold the fort and you get something at the game, yes. But 5 points dropped in the last 2 games. I'm not one to say 1 point gained against Brentford. It's definitely 2 points dropped and 3 dropped against Everton, albeit a manager bounce. It's not the right time for that heading into the Man City game. And the Man City game now is massive, maybe to kickstart momentum again for us. And it won't be a low block we're playing against, which could favour us. But at the same time, it's Manchester City. And we all know what Manchester City have done over the last 5-6 years. So it will be a mad one. But yeah, over to you guys in terms of Arsenal. You know, what did you make of the performance? What did you make of the reasoning behind? You know, Matisse mentioned Lee Mason already. Maybe we go to Matisse first to kind of talk about what he wants to talk about regarding.
No.
No. GRIZZ, let's
Oh,
go
you're eating. Do you want to speak or do you want to eat? You can't do both at the same
No.
time.
Because I think this is where me and SAEED want to know why you like Lee Mason and Arsenal and defending Arsenal and like sticking up.
What do you mean, you and SAEED? You're not.
Me
on
and
the same
SAEED
level.
think that because we think that. Why are you?
Or did you two have a show?
Like, okay, Turkish is back. Bossman is back. He's sitting in his rightful seat, right?
Yeah.
His team have just, in my opinion, his team have just, I think, given all the momentum to Man City in the last 2 games.
See, I didn't watch the whole game, so the lead.
But you was ready. So you was ready to just jump on a bandwagon of a referee.
Let's be real.
Brentford should have won that game.
I hear that. But let's be real, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's be real. You don't always win the games that you deserve to win. Sometimes you have to do a shithousery win, right? Especially in a title race. It's a disgraceful decision. Let's be real. It's one of the worst officiating decisions I've ever seen in the Premier League, and that's why I bring it up, because just because Arsenal didn't play at their best, Arsenal have been playing well enough this season for me to be like, without the banter, actually be like, okay, cool. Some games you're gonna get away with it, and you're gonna play some meaty matches and still get your 3 points. But because that decision was not given, it's a bit mad. Now, and also I had a decision that for me wrongfully we should have a penalty as well.
Yeah,
so I'm a little bit more sympathetic this weekend for
that's what
refereeing.
It is.
Now
I know that's what it is.
In terms of if you're looking for criticism, I guess what we're taking from this is Arsenal against maybe more physical opponents who set up in a certain way. We've seen Newcastle, we've seen Everton, we've seen Brentford. There's a little bit of a consistent theme building up here where they're struggling. And I think Man City are not going to pose that for sure. They're not going to approach the game like Brentford did. They're not going to, I didn't get to see the whole game, but I saw Brentford where their XG was better than Arsenal's. I was kind of shocked. Arsenal had loads of shots, but I only got to watch the highlights. But yeah, I don't think Man City are going to pose the same threat. So if you want to cook them, you cook them though. Yeah, you sound like you want to cook some Arsenal.
No, I've eaten, man. I already cooked earlier. I've eaten. My plate is empty, brother. My plate is empty. Roast potatoes and chicken was on the menu tonight.
When you know what? Just on that note, when you showed the chicken bone after what you and TOBS did to Matisse,
now you know why he called me donkey.
You know what? Yeah, I was so rattled. I didn't even clock what that meant until I watched the show later. Man. I didn't even clock.
Do you know what? Arsenal. Look, this is the perils. These are the fine margins of being in a title race with Man City. Obviously, we're going to get to Man City later, but I thought Arsenal. I look, the Everton game we all discussed and we all said it can happen. It's one of those games where you catch the other team on the wrong time, in the wrong place, in the wrong day, wrong time, kick off, all of that business, and you can lose a game away to Everton. That can happen. The litmus test for me was Brentford at home, because you needed to come back and put the Everton result away. And even if you, like you said, Matisse, you're right. You don't always have to put in a performance to win a game, but you must. What do we say? You must.
You must.
Last week's slogan was "We must." You must. They had to, and I think Turkish feels the same as well. They, yes, TOBS, but they needed to get 3 points by hook or by crook, and the fact that it was a refereeing decision that ultimately cost them that vital 2 points is nasty. But I just thought the performance and overall game plan didn't warrant a win. And I don't know how Arsenal fans feel going into this Man City game. Who's got the momentum now? Because yes, you're a home game. You got the home. The crowd's going to be rocking. Emirates is going to be on fire, lit. And you got a chance of going, is it 6 points clear with a game in hand?
Yeah.
So the incentive and the positivity should still be there. But there's going to be bit of doubts creeping in now, because that's 4 points dropped out of the last 6, and it ain't easy. It ain't easy.
What I want to know is a bit of what Turkish's thoughts are. Basically going all the way back to that FA Cup game. I don't know, did you do the review with us after that game? I want to talk about that, because I was told after that game that by whoever the Arsenal fan was at the time, we rotated our squad. We have bigger fish to fry. The bigger fish, they've come along and they're still frozen. They haven't been fried. And the thing is, everything was going so well for Arsenal in the build up to that game. You know, it's all the sun shining over the Emirates. The momentum was great, and I said going into that game, I know from experience that when you're fighting for a Premier League, I often find that a win in an FA Cup game or a Carabao Cup game can actually benefit you in your Premier League run, because you continue to build that momentum. It doesn't offer any stumbling block in the dressing room, no psychological damage. You keep in that tunnel mindset of we win, repetition essentially. You gave a stumbling block for yourself, obviously a massive opportunity to beat a team in Manchester City, and then you took your first L in a long time, and then you go out and lose to Everton and you draw to Brentford. Do you think it's just a coincidence, or there's any correlation whatsoever?
I don't think there's much correlation, if I'm honest. I think that even if you play your first team against Man City away from home in particular, City are always going to be favourites. In terms of what I saw of that game, and I did watch that game, I think we performed decent. I think there was an opportunity there had we had played our first team, but Manchester City also made some changes too. I get what you mean about consistency and momentum and all of that. And I think, a victory over you guys there, or maybe even holding you to a draw and a replay, would have got into your minds a lot more than ours. But the loss, in my opinion, and the way we lost didn't really have a mental effect on me as an Arsenal fan watching it. So I don't think it should have the players either, because it's not like we went to Etihad and got mauled. And in the past, that's exactly what's happened. We went to Etihad, we put in a decent showing, and we lost the game 1-0 courtesy of Ake and a bit of lackadaisical, defending by Sambi Lokonga. So I get it. I understand why people look back at that now and look at that as the start of the downfall in the last 3 games. But at the same time, I just look at the way Everton play and I look at the way Brentford played against us. Matisse mentioned Newcastle as well. And I think a blueprint is forming in terms of how to nullify Arsenal and minimize our good chances.
Unpredictable Turkish. I think
no plan B. There's no plan B.
No, that's what I think. Arteta is become predictable in his team shape, his team lineup. For me, I think for me, when you played against a low block, I think you don't need Zinchenko. I think you need Kieran Tierney. You need the overlapping runs. You need the overlaps, and you need the penetration on the left-hand side. I think for me as well, this persistence with Martinelli. I mean, why does he keep choosing Martinelli? I think he needs to choose Trossard, who could give you something different.
On that note, sorry. So on that Martinelli note, in all honesty, if I was Arteta against City, and listen, Arteta, he's proven himself to be a quality manager in terms of how he's taken us to where he's taken us. But I would probably play Trossard up front instead of replacing Martinelli, and then hope that Trossard kind of dropping in, create space for Martinelli that Jesus used to create. But obviously, that's on the manager. I wouldn't necessarily be looking to replace Martinelli, because Martinelli can also do something out of nothing. Whereas I look at Eddie and I think he's the one that hasn't shown me he can do something out of nothing. So I'd probably go with Martinelli, Trossard up top, and Saka on the right. But I get you, because Martinelli hasn't really been up to standard.
And then also, I just want to say, the best centre-back in the league. Are we going to speak about him? Is anyone going to speak about your boy Saliba?
You go ahead. You lead.
Because I don't know. Listen,
the thing is, I don't even like the Arsenal players, but who hasn't Ivan Toney fist up in the air?
No, but listen.
Well, that's what I'm saying, man. We were laughed at when we lost when we drew at Everton and we lost to Brentford. Like, these are good teams. These are actually good teams.
Do you remember when I said that there needs to be more respect for Brentford?
Most people in the air. Literally, I remember when
I put Brentford in very high esteem.
Too much disrespect.
After they mash us up, yeah. Brentford are kings for me.
Brentford are a good team.
No, but I just want to say, I don't know. Listen, I think Arsenal fans should be hyping up more Gabriel this season. Saliba, yes, he's done well, and but since the World Cup, man, why go for Saliba?
Do you know what it is? Look,
no, I'm not even trying to banter here, but
I know you are, and I hear you. I know you are. You're trying to banter them, and I hear you.
Saeed's funny. I like Saeed.
No, but I'm not. Listen, I'm just trying to raise.
No, I love Saeed. I love Saeed.
I'm listening. I like you.
No, he's got every right to raise it up. But, I love it. But every fan base does this, and all the dickheads in the fan bases do this, where they just rise up. We Liverpool fan base done the same, and you lot always attack me saying, "Oh, you got the best thing." I never said all of that, but dickheads in my fan base did say that. Same with Arsenal; they raised up Martinelli and Saliba as madness. Your fan base does the same with Bruno, and now Rashford is Ballon d'Or nominee. It happens in all fan bases. Sometimes you just got to keep it basic and real. And Saliba's a young centre back that you can see is growing. And he's got potential to be world class.
I understand that,
but he's not. There shouldn't be any conversations of anything.
No, I'm
great
not saying.
yet.
Listen, we're not saying that he's not a great centre back, but I'm just saying.
No, I am. I'm saying he's not a great centre back yet.
You know what I mean?
I'm saying it.
This one here. Listen, Lisandro Martinez, mate, he's been performing well. Apart from one game this season where he had a stumbling block against Man City, and that's what I think for me. Everything else,
he playing the 4-0.
He should have been.
4-0. He came. Sorry?
He did play. He did play. He should have been sent off against Leeds.
Yeah, this Leeds. Nah, relax yourself, man.
What do
But
you
all
mean,
I'm
relax
saying to you,
yourself?
I'm just
He should have been
we'll
sent
get
off
off to
against
United in a
Leeds in
bit.
the wrong game. What are
I'm
you
just
talking
raising
about?
some questions here. Just raise some.
Yo, we're
very,
talking
very
about
last-
Saliba. Why are you switching on United already, Tobes, man? Stick to the
I'm not
thing.
switching on United. I'm saying
And you
I
know
don't like
it's
what
Martinez.
Saeed's trying to do.
You know,
He's trying to,
you know.
I don't like what Saeed's trying to do. Lisandro's been quality for Man United, but you can't make it out like Lisandro's the benchmark when you're talking about.
Listen, I didn't. You're putting words into my mouth here. You speak for yourself. I am interpreting it the way I'm interpreting it. That's not the way I'm interpreting it. By the way, all I'm saying to you is, yeah, Saliba to not win 10 duels. And listen, okay, it's your guy, but he's been very, very shoddy since the World Cup. And like I said, all these Arsenal fans have been gassing. Not you, Turkish. Not you. Not necessarily you. I'm not coming at you. But I'm just saying we just need to have a discussion. That's all. Because I'll be worried if, like right now, I'm looking at it and I'm thinking Gabriel is performing better, and Saliba now is looking a bit whoa, like really whoa. So that's all I'm saying.
Martinez is performing better than Varane. It doesn't necessarily mean on the Saliba thing. If you look at that 10 aerial duels 0-1, of course on paper it's unacceptable. Not just on paper, it's unacceptable to see that too. But aside from his aerial duels, I don't think Saliba performed badly at all against Brentford. I feel like it's kind of overhyped because of that stat, in my honest opinion. But I agree with you. Post World Cup, Saliba hasn't been the same as he was pre World Cup. But he's also, what is he, 21 years of age, 22? So
and this is where the defense league comes in for Martinelli, comes in for Saliba. They're young players. Everyone needs to relax. Saeed, you need to relax. You picked on the wrong. Too young.
No, I don't think it was something that you had to raise, and we had to.
You raised it. Martinelli and Saliba are not the ones to pick on. I feel there is others we can pick on, including Arteta, and I'm here for the Arteta, not slander, because he's done a magnificent job, and I'm his biggest fan. You already know this, but there is a couple of things that he could have done earlier and more different. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not sure if Arsenal people in the chat are calm enough to give me rational responses instead of just saying loser pool and all that kind of shit. Like, what the fuck? Are you seriously going to try to trigger me with loser pool? But so you know, if you want to come back with something constructive in it. I think Arteta's substitutions and braveness, maybe Turkish, could be a bit questioned. Like, do you really need Xhaka playing that role up to like how he like? Sometimes I think he can risk throwing an extra attack, and I've said it often. You know, go a bit more gung ho. Like Saeed raised a very good point about Tierney. Instead of inverted Zinchenko ain't got the pace and power to go on the outside. Tierney's got the pace and power to go on the outside. Teams are picking up to cover you on the insides because of Zinchenko, and they leave your flanks open. And that's where he could have made a couple of changes, but I think it is a blip, and I think you've got a huge, huge opportunity to just put it all right against Man City, and everything will be rosy again, I believe.
When you mentioned Arteta, I straight away thought of was it Saeed that said it or Matisse about Tierney?
Saeed said it.
100%. That is the one I look at, and I think to myself, even when you look at the heat map of certain players, Martinelli is quite isolated on that left-hand side, and adding Tierney's attacking threat is underrated. I feel like he can.
I agree.
He can help break a low block. He can help get the ball into the box, into good attacking areas. So that is definitely the one I look at. Listen, I go back to the January window, and there's a reason I said. Firstly, I said talk to when I think it was Matisse that asked me about title race, and I said talk to me in February. That was because I wanted to see what we've done in January. And then the Man City game was placed on the February the 15th. So I said, talk to me February the 16th. Now, February 16th is a few days away. We're going to talk. But if I'm looking at the January transfer window, I don't believe Arsenal done what we should have done, in my honest opinion. And I don't believe we really went for it. Trossard, I like Trossard. Don't get it twisted. But Jorginho, Kivior, I don't know if it was the right time to find the backup for Gabriel or bring in a Jorginho who, okay, he's been a top player for Chelsea over the years, and he was a top player for Italy in their Euro success. But I think his best days are behind him, and He's not someone that's going to come on and help you push for a win in the game. He's more someone that's going to come on and maybe slow the game down when you're 1-0 up. He's someone that's going to give you maybe a bit more reassurance in the middle. I just don't think that we added the necessary threats. And at the end of the day, goals win you leagues as much as defensive solidity. And defensively at home, we have conceded goals. Away from home in general, we've been quite solid. I just think we should have really done a bit more in that January transfer window. I think the Jorginho signing at the end deflated a lot of people. Huh?
Who would you have got, like a striker? What would you have got? Because the problem was, Nketiah was banging in the goals, and I know hindsight's a wonderful thing, but who would you have got though? Because you got Trossard, you know what I mean? So I don't know, what would you have got?
He said he wanted Felix.
Felix was the one, man. Felix was the one. When I look at profile and I look at what he would bring, Felix was the one. And I know 11 million's a lot, but so is £200 for a tracksuit that comes out 4 or 5 times a year. So is £75 for a shirt, the best-selling shirt in the history of the Premier League. We pay a lot of money for merchandise. We pay a lot of money for tickets. In general, Arsenal in the Premier League era, in the Emirates, we've spent the most on tickets. So we pay a lot for these things. Sometimes we want the club, or I want the club, to pay maybe over the odds to get us over the line in a certain position. And Felix was the one for me. Forget Mudryk. Yeah, it looks like he'll be a good talent. There's question marks over his last couple of performances. It's still very early days for him. New league, big money, high expectation. But Felix, for me, would have come in and definitely helped not only our attack, but Martinelli on the left, Xhaka. You know, a lot of people mention Martinelli in his drop-off in performances, but Xhaka's there too. So if you ask me the one player I would have wanted from January that's realistic, Felix would have been the one.
This is the difference, isn't it? But I still think, for me, you know, it is a blip, but at the same time, man, it's one of them situations where Arteta just needs to come less predictable. Maybe needs to change it a little bit, personnel in midfield. But then again, GRIZZ has said it, man. That game there, you win that game, all of a sudden the perspective changes. So I think Brentford, we got to give credit to Brentford, man. Listen, Brentford are unbeaten in how many games? It was never going to be an easy game. As much as you should be beating them, but at the same time, Brentford are a good team. And you know what? They had chances. And I'm sorry, but that Mbeumo goal, Gabriel, was it really a foul?
It should have stood. It should have
stood.
It
wasn't a foul.
It wasn't a foul all day long. And I'm not saying what about Riz and whatnot, but listen, you might have been hurt on the other side, but they should have had a couple as well. So I don't know, man. It swings roundabouts, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is swings and roundabouts. The only thing I'll say about that is obviously Mbeumo put it in the back of the net, but Ramsdale had already listened to the referee's whistle, and obviously in a one-on-one situation, you'd still expect Mbeumo to score, but the game stopped once that whistle was blown. So yes, he put it in the back of the net. No, it wasn't a foul. In my opinion, 100% it wasn't a foul. But who knows how it would have worked out if the referee's whistle didn't go and he had that one-on-one chance. Ramsdale might have saved it, but yeah, it was ruled out, and it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, Manchester City on Wednesday, massive game for Arsenal to kind of kick back momentum, kick back into gear. Listen, a loss against Man City it's not the end of the world in terms of where we've put ourselves in the league, but mentally it could be the end of the whole title aspirations and title hope, because we'd still have a game in hand. And this ain't me saying I'd accept the loss, or if we were to lose, I'd still kind of favor us to win it. I haven't favored us to win it. I've always said February is a time I'll kind of assess it more, because I feel like Manchester City will kick into gear eventually. And I don't even think Manchester City have kicked into gear. Yes, they've just, beat Villa 3-1. A great first half performance, not so much second half. I think there was gaps in there in the second half, but, they took off who they needed to take off, and they got the job done in the first half. This game can really kick off the momentum for City, and it can really kick off the momentum for Arsenal. If we win 6 points ahead with a game in hand, we forget about Brentford, we forget about Everton. If we don't win, and that includes a draw as well, then of course you look at the last 4 games, no wins. You look at the last 3 in the league, 2 points out of 9. It doesn't look favourable, and then you head into Aston Villa. And I've got one eye on that Villa game too, because Emery's really going to want to pull one out of the bag against us because of the way he was treated and the way he was vilified at Arsenal. So Villa away, in my opinion, is going to be a difficult game as well. So
it ain't easy.
One game at a time, as Cam likes to say. But I've got my eye on Villa as well. So regardless of what happens against Manchester City, you know, there's difficult games coming up for Arsenal. We've got to kind of kickstart it somewhere. And there's nowhere better to kickstart it than against Man City. So I hope for the best. That's all I can really do. I know certain man ain't hoping for the best on Arsenal's side. A lot of people wishing for our downfall. Matisse in particular, I've seen your streams, my guy. You know, we yeah, you, my guy, you.
That was
on,
that was a mistake. It was just a slip of the tongue. You know, I was live. We do a lot of shows. Things can go wrong at times. You know, I meant every word.
Wrong color blue, my guy. Wrong color blue.
He's traded in Chelsea for City.
It's quite shameless, though. It's quite shameless and pathetic. Like Toby, is that what you're going to say? Is that what you're going to say, Toby?
Wow.
No, I wasn't even going to mention Matisse. I was saying I think Arsenal fans are getting into their own heads, right? Creating panic scenarios, right? And doing too much. I don't even think it's ups. Like, I haven't even needed to say anything about Arsenal dropping points because it seems like some of your fans I see on social media, they're losing the plot themselves, man.
But this is the thing, right? Yeah. Arsenal's fan base is so big. Every time I step outside, it's always an Arsenal man that's bucking me. You're asking me, what do I think of the game? I ain't got nothing. I don't need to say nothing because I've already heard enough. I heard enough when Arteta should have been sacked and it was Arteta out. I heard it all. So everybody would like to pretend like it's just me and TOBS that wanted him gone. But in fact, it was majority of the Arsenal fan base. So I heard a lot then.
I'm backing you on that. I'm backing you on that.
And now I'm hearing a lot now. So I don't need to speak because they're speaking for me. So your panic, I'm feeling your panic. And I'm just going to just be like, I'm just going to just see what happens. I'm very calm. I'm very calm right now. Like we said, Man City play Arsenal next. They could go top on goal difference. It's a big game. We'll see what happens. Listen, you guys know what your team is about. Let's see what's gonna happen.
My thing as well is they built like I don't really understand. Like, isn't this what you built up your buffer for? Like, isn't this why you were so consistent? Or wasn't this a benefit of getting 50 points from 19 games? So when you do have your blip, you can still maintain a cushion.
Not when Man City are coming around the corner, though. Not when Man City
are always going to come around the corner. It's Man City. They've won the league 4 times in the last 5 years. Like, did people just expect that Man City are just going to drift into the wayside and lose this by 10, 12 points? It's not going to happen, bro. Like, even a down season for Man City, they're still Man City. Do you get what I'm saying?
Do you know what's key as well? I think what calmed me down as an op is last week, Man City's kind of like heat in the streets, so to speak. Galvanize the team now. Galvanize the fans. Now we're the hate. They're not really, we know they're overdoing it maybe slightly, but this week, to be honest, it's probably felt for HUGH that they are the hated ones. They're the ones that everybody dislikes. They're the ones that everybody's going for. So now you can use that to...
Yeah, do you not find it
people and everything now?
They're hilarious. They're like they want to create the siege mentality, us against the world.
They're the villains. Listen, you had SAEED turning up in a black shirt and tie. It's us versus the world, man.
Colin Bellstand, guys.
Bloody hell, mate.
Colin Bellstand.
Man said us versus the world.
They're the villains. They're the villains.
Oh man, what do you want us to do? Just sit back and cry and throw, batten down the hatches and say, "Fuck this." We have to galvanize what we can and take inspiration from what you can.
I'm trying to find that banner that your fans created because I saw it in the Aston Villa game, the lawyer one. I can't even remember what it's called.
Panic on the streets, Panic in the streets of London. How fucking cringe was that?
You know what? Yeah, like I feel like this is actually the perfect tonic for Pep, right? It's almost sort of worked in Pep's favor now because now he's giving the players more inspo. Oh, guys, look, they want to tear us down. But it's Man City, us against the... Jose Mourinho, and Stoppage mentioned this as well, right? Jose Mourinho was perfect at this, right? Jose Mourinho and his teams, he creates siege mentality, and that's what he uses to drive his team forward, right? And you can actually kind of see that Man City...
Arteta can do that as well. Arteta can do that. Amazon.
Toby just
I'm not saying Arteta can't do it. I'm saying Man City fans are feeding off this, right? They're using this as more of a reason to rally behind their team, and I think Pep is going to use this as a push to try and G his team up. From time I'm seeing him mention Steven Gerrard in press conferences and how he shouldn't have slipped, and now he mentioned Daniel Levy's names in press conferences as well. Like he's getting smoky. He's getting a little bit smoky. Do you get what I'm saying?
You just hijacked me like Todd Bowie. I was going to say all that, but he just hijacked me. He just started talking. I just let him run with it, you little bastard.
Todd Bowie. Todd Bowie, man.
Todd Bowley, you know.
I mean, I don't know. Are we going into the City game on that section on that? Because that's a whole.
Yeah, like, do you want me to
that's
go
a whole
into the
debate. That's a whole debate in itself. Like I've said it. Look, I've said it for Jurgen Klopp. He needs to talk less in press conferences. So I'm not a hypocrite here. I'm not being a hypocrite here. I'm just keeping the same energy. And you guys know, I say it. I say all the great managers, when they get rattled, they say some stupid stuff. So when they get rattled and triggered, they need to say less. I thought Pep's press conference was a shambles. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Like, I'll tell you why I would say that, because I've just said it. I'll tell you what I would say. So I would say that
your team for the last 5 years.
I would say that because I've just literally first and foremost I referenced my manager and said I find him cringe when he does those ones. I think managers should speak about what they know and understand, because otherwise you're going to get into muddy waters, and especially if English ain't your first language. So if English ain't first language and you know this media are hounds, they're looking for sound bites, they're looking for slip-ups. You need to, I think if I was a City fan, and Hughie can have his say, and of course, you know, everyone else can have their say, but if I was a City fan, I would have much appreciated if my manager said, I'm an elite coach, I'm here to win football games. The lawyers, the legal team, the manager, the owners, they can do what, you know, they'll handle these questions. I don't really understand the complexities of it. He inadvertently opened up a whole new can of worms because he didn't understand the situation. Now, I would, if I was a City fan, use, no, English is not his first language. Then say less, speak less. At one stage, he said, Abu Dhabi, you know, own Man City, when Abu Dhabi are not supposed to own Man City legally. The legal how Man City, how the ownership got hold of Man City was on the basis of Abu Dhabi is not involved. Yet he slipped up in a press conference and said Abu Dhabi owned Man City. He owned up to that. He's opening up a whole can of worms, talking about shit that he doesn't really understand because he's not supposed to understand. He's an elite coach, one of the greatest coaches this league's ever seen, the world's ever seen, and say, I'm here to coach. Please don't ask me questions that are outside my pay packet. And that's and I think he would have had much more respect and dignity about him. Instead, he chatted the utmost shit about other clubs, siege mentality. I get it that they need to galvanize that to get back in the title race. I get it from that aspect, but I think it's short-term thinking. The long-term effect of it was, I thought it was cringe.
Wow,
I couldn't disagree anymore. Personally, I think he knew exactly what he was doing. I think he had absolutely no intention of appealing to rival fans, to journalists, no intention of appealing to any media. He knew exactly what he was doing, and that was entirely galvanizing a club who was very split and damaged at the time. The fans were very unsure of what was going on. We had spent the whole week fighting tooth and nail to defend our club in whatever way we felt we knew we could. Like I said from the very beginning, I'm not knowledgeable enough to go into the ins and outs and the intricacies of the whole thing with you and defend in that way, but I'll defend our right to innocence until proven guilty. That's essentially it.
But that's what you had to say. No. You're short term. I agree with everything that you've said so far. I agree with.
Let me get to that.
Because that's short term thinking. He galvanized it for the season.
I'm not arsed about short term thinking. The thing is with him is a weak manager or a manager with no personality who doesn't particularly care about his club. He just wants to do I'm the coach thing. I'm only here to win football games. He came out. He showed character. He showed personality. He shows he actually gives a shit about the club. He put any of those doubts about could he possibly leave? Does he want to be involved?
He lied.
Show to bed. Hang on. And then he said, I'm not leaving. I'm not moving from this seat. That was a powerful, powerful quote. So you had a situation whereby through the whole week, the fans developed a siege mentality. The manager joins in and everyone goes, okay, this is huge. Are the players, the last piece of the jigsaw, going to reciprocate that siege mentality too? He was galvanizing and causing a reaction of, right, make you angrier and you dislike him more, but us even more passionate. Every player in their post-match interview spoke after that game on Sunday and said, wow, that was a feeling we haven't had in a long time. The fans were really behind us. It wasn't just, oh, the fans were great, you know, couldn't have done it without the 12th man. It was a genuine, yeah, that was sick. If you're like that all the time, we will be able to give you that energy too. So I knew exactly what he was doing, and it's a polarizing thing he's doing. He's going to make people like you go, oh, that dickhead's saying too much. What's he opening his mouth for? But in our position, you're getting fans turning up with flares and smoke bombs before the game.
Hold on. Let me just come back with that.
It is a genuine siege mentality. It's
I agree. No, but you did
versus the world. We don't care what you think. We're going to take motivation from this.
Agree. I agree, but I don't think you understood what I said, or you didn't listen then, because I said I understand that from the short-term thinking of this is his opportunity to galvanize the club, the team, the fans right now. But in the long-term scheme of things, if you are proven guilty, he's going to look like an absolute dickhead. This is my point. Long term, he said, if we get relegated, I'm there. Do you really think he's going to be there in division and in championship if you get relegated? He said we were exonerated. You was not exonerated. He said we were proven innocent. You wasn't proven innocent. He said loads of things that were wrong and incorrect.
Yeah, you need to go re-read the press release.
No, you wasn't. You was fined.
They deemed us innocent of no disguised payments with Etihad Airways.
Hold on. No. You was fined. And it was thrown out because you was timed out because of the emails were said to be sort of outside the timescale, and B, it wasn't innocent. You was fined. You only get fined. You don't get fined if you're innocent. Like, hey guys, like
100%.
No. Who gets fined? Who gets fined if you're innocent? That don't make sense. You're fined.
Exactly. Should have been.
And the reason why I was running is because you didn't cooperate.
GRIZZ,
now that is
the media release from that case is in my hand. Manchester City FC did not disguise equity funding as sponsorship contributions, but did fail to cooperate. So you're right on the failure to cooperate, but they were cleared of disguising funding. So they were.
I just said no. You wasn't. You was fined 10 million or something.
For not cooperating, but we were exonerated of disguising funds
because of the timeout. Because your legal team was magnificent in your attempt to time out the thing. So that's not a sign of innocence. That's just a sign they couldn't prove that you were guilty. There's a difference. But that's my point. You're doing a Pep Guardiola without understanding it. Don't speak on it. And that's why I think Pep Guardiola shouldn't have spoken on it. But it's fine. I get it. Look. From a fan point of view. No, hold on.
I think it's very easy for you to do this, GRIZZ. When you're telling me I know nothing about the case, it's very clear that you don't either. You're saying exactly. I'm saying we're innocent. Neither of us really have a fucking clue. So what are we arguing over here?
I tell you why. Because the legal people have said you wasn't. I'm repeating what
that legal guy beside me in his black shirt and tie. He said I wasn't.
No. I'm repeating what learned people have said. Since he made that statement,
GRIZZ, can I ask you a question?
Let me end it like this. Check this out. Check this out. Let me end it like this. I think Jurgen Klopp would have done the same thing.
And my next
see, do you get me? I would have done. Jurgen Klopp would have done the same thing.
Spearhead that. You would love your manager to come out with chest and say, I know the risk I'm taking,
you can't say that. Okay, you can't say that because I've just told you that I find it cringe when Jurgen Klopp does it. So you're arguing with the person. I'm saying
your club in a serious situation.
No. I'm saying I would have found it cringe if he didn't understand the situation and he dug a hole, deeper hole. I said it before. I said it before. I said about Klopp would have done the same. Conte would have done the same.
Not from you. Jurgen Klopp has said a madness. Jurgen Klopp has said.
I've just said he would have done the same.
You said you would have found it cringe. But
yes,
you're getting onto Hughie for defending what Pep Guardiola said.
No, I'm not defending it. I said I agree with it, but I'm saying if I was a fan, you lot didn't understand what I said then. Because I said if I was a City fan, I would have found it cringe. Just like I've just said, if Klopp done it, I would have found it cringe. And I think it's gonna do long-term damage. Short-term, he's galvanized the squad. I get it. He's galvanized the fan base. I get it. I'm just saying personally, I wouldn't want my manager to say those things. That's just me.
I wouldn't want my manager to say some of the things that Jurgen Klopp says, but he says them and you defend him.
But I don't, TOBS. I've just said I find it cringe.
No, you every single thing that's been brought on Klopp's name in this.
No, because I say rattled managers say shit, and I say yeah, he's rattled.
Bro, you cannot take criticism when it comes to Jurgen Klopp. That's a fact. You literally
That's not a fact.
Yes,
that's not a fact. I've just criticized him.
You argue against.
How's that fact? Do you not know what fact means?
It's a fact because it's been proven.
I just criticized him, and I'm saying I find it cringe.
It's not about you criticizing him. When we talk about Jurgen Klopp's press conferences, how he said something crazy and how he's a hypocrite, how he's this, he's that, you are the first one front and center to defend him. So what I'm saying is, it's a bit hypocritical the way you're going in on Pep Guardiola and going in on HUGH for his defense of Pep Guardiola.
I'm not going on HUGH first and foremost. I'm going on Pep. I understand HUGH's sentiments, and as a fan, I've just said most fans would understand that.
The only way we can look
at it, you can go in on Pep, but when it's Jurgen Klopp, boy,
I went on Klopp first. I went on Klopp first, so I laid the foundation. So you don't call me a hypocrite. Right. So I done that, but you ignored that. But it's okay. We can move.
Can I just say, if all of your clubs were in this situation, you would not want your manager. You would not want your manager, who is a club legend, essentially the best manager we've had of all time, to cower away from the situation. You would want him to spearhead it with chest, come out and defend the club tooth and nail. Even if
he knew what he's talking about. If he knew what he's talking about.
Hang on. Even if that means making some enemies with rival fans or journalists, the fact that he doesn't care, he's willing to do this for the benefit of the team, even if it is short term. We'll worry about the long term when we get there. But even short term, if that helps our team, we as fans love it. We absolutely love the fact that Pep shows he gives a shit. He does love this club as much as you may not like to not believe. And he's coming out and showing that. What more can I ask for as a fan? I trust this guy so much that no matter what he says, I'm going to back it. Even if you think he doesn't know much about the situation, if he says he does, he fucking does, as far as I'm concerned.
I get that. I agree with you. I've been like that with Klopp. That's what Toby's mistaking me for. I agree with that sentiment and aspect. But I still find it cringe sometimes. I find Klopp.
Can I just say, right? This is precisely what Pep wants. You're talking about Pep. You're not talking about City. City, he criticized the atmosphere. He criticized the mentality of the team. He criticized ambition, maybe from the board, maybe a little bit in terms of the January window. I don't know. Now, they're chasing a Premier League title, and it's an opportunity to galvanize, like you said, galvanize the team, get everybody on the same page, put rockets up arses, and actually go on this 10, 11, 12 game run. And that is all that matters. Football is a fickle game. We know that. You know that. Everybody knows that. Football is a forgetful game. Lee Mason, we won't be talking about him next week. This case is going to take
Arsenal fans will be.
This case is going to take 2 to 4 years. We don't know what's going to happen in 2 to 4 years, whether or not they might not even address this. He might not even be at the club. We don't know what's going to happen. So as far as I'm concerned personally, short term is what you're remembered on right now. People are only speaking on your last game, your next game. And as long as you handle business in the short term, as a manager who's done what he's done anyway and has already got the long-term respect and being one of the GOATs, that's all that matters. Simple as that. Handle your business now, win the league now, and 2-4 years' time, you worry about that later, in my opinion.
Of course, when he's not going to be there.
Exactly. So he's not going to...
I agree. But I said that. Did you guys not hear that? Yeah, I said short-term wise, right now, he's done exactly
He's done his job then.
He's done his job. Exactly. I just said long-term effect. It's going to like man.
There will be no repercussion. There will be no repercussions for Pep if this does go wrong.
I agree.
There will be repercussions for Manchester City, not for Pep.
I agree.
He's just an employee. So
I agree.
I want to move on to the game, and because we're nearly an hour in, I just want to ask one question because we're gonna discuss it in detail on Thursday night show after the result as well. I'm gonna ask one question and just to go around and see answers. Does the winner of this game win the league?
No, too early.
Yes.
Too early.
Yes.
What, both ways, Grizz? Arsenal?
Yes. Yes. I believe if Arsenal win it, 6 points up with a game in hand, it will be that galvanizing, that everything that we're talking about, momentum and everything that we've said you've lost, you regain it. You regain it. Because 6 points up with a game in hand. Who's your game in hand? Everton at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's potentially very good chance of making it 9 points. I think the winner takes it. If Man City beat you, you ain't coming back from this dagger from the 3-game run that you've just had. So I think winner goes.
I think there's a multitude of outcomes that could come from this. You could see a situation whereby a young, inexperienced Arsenal team, having not won a Premier League game in 3 games, if they were to take a hiding or a loss in general off their direct title rivals, they could completely capitulate and they don't bounce back from that. You could see a situation whereby City win the game and go on to lose the following game. I just think there's far too much football to be played. The notion that City will go on to a 10-15 game run, I don't actually buy into anymore. I think both teams, and I mean that honestly, I think both teams will drop more points. This game will absolutely offer a huge amount of momentum and a psychological boost, something we talk about a lot, to whoever wins it. But will it be the determining factor on who lifts the trophy? I absolutely don't think so for a second.
No, I don't think so as well. I think this is Barclays Premier League season, man. Bro, Barclays Premier League. That's what I'm calling it, man. Anything's going to happen.
That's what it's called, isn't it? That's why you're calling it.
Unless it's been a crazy situation.
What are you laughing at?
I don't know what he's laughing at.
Because I'm calling it the Barclays Premier League. That's what it's called.
You tried to do the Rashford. You tried to do the Rashford and claim a celebration that was already done, fam. I saw you, man.
I'm just saying, like, it feels like the kind of season where like anything's possible, man, and we're living it. We're living it, man. Like, it's crazy.
It's definitely a big game in terms of like momentum, right? Like it swings the momentum and changes the narrative, but I don't think it ends the race. When you look at Man City's last fixtures as well, like Man City and Arsenal, the one at the Etihad is in April. That's at the end of April. If anything, I would say if both teams are still neck and neck, that is a game where if you win or lose it, that one can decide a league title. And then even after that, I think Man City, correct me if I'm wrong, Hugh, but Man City, 2 of their last 3 matches of the season is away to Everton, fighting for relegation, and away to Brentford.
Bro, our last 2 games, our last 2 of the season is Chelsea at home and Brentford away.
Exactly. There you go then. So
last 2 what?
Last 2 games of the league.
Yeah.
Brentford away.
Well, and Chelsea at home first, and last game Brentford away.
Okay.
That's 3
People
points.
are saying they can't hear me. Can you not hear me?
We can hear you. Other people's mics are loud. One at a time.
Chelsea 3 points anyway. Don't worry about that game.
Go on, Tobes. Continue.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, I just think it's too early. When a race is this tight and you're talking about this Man City team that still look like they have the appetite to chase. Okay, they don't look as fluent as they were last year, but they still look good enough to win this league title. I'm sorry, you can't tell me that this league is done in midway through February. Impossible.
I'm gonna, in my opinion, I think mentally it could be very damaging if Manchester City get the win at the Emirates. And I look back at a comment Zinchenko said, I think it was after the United game, might have been the game before, and he mentioned that in December he turned around to the rest of the lads in the dressing room and he said, "Listen, we're not talking about top 4, we're talking about the title now." And he said a couple players laughed. And he said, he basically said it's not a laughing matter. So mentally, you can also, see that there is some fragility there because we're still a young team. So I think if we were to get beaten at the Emirates by City, they was to go top for the first time since August on goal difference. Then regardless of that game in hand against Everton, which is still to come, we've then got a tough away game against Emery's Villa. So it all depends. I don't think it's won and lost on Wednesday, but mentally it could be won or lost, and the damage that could be done off the back of it might kind of resonate for a few.
I need that.
Of course you do. I'm going to get into the super chats, and then we're going to get into.
I think that should be better now. I've figured out what was wrong. It was because it was playing off my webcam.
Okay, cool. Calm. Before I get into the super chats, people, listen. We're just over an hour in. There's 7.8k in the building. We're on 1.6k likes. Let's get it past 2k. Let's get it close to 3k. Let's hit 3k likes before the show ends. You know what it is already, people. Just hit the like button, scroll down. And whilst you scroll down, make sure you support the man, them HUGH, SAEED, GRIZZ, TOBS, MATISSE, and THUGGERY. All channel links are in the description below. A lot of people were waiting for THUGGERY today. He's been on holiday. He's got a new MacBook. He will be returning real soon. So wait on it. Look out for it. He's going to have content on his channel too. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're showing some love to the rest of the team because we are a team, people. So don't forget that. And big up Manscaped, the sponsor. For 20% off, TB620 is the code. If you're in America, there's some new products out there as well, beard related. They haven't dropped in the UK yet, but you can use TB620 wherever you are in the world. So if you grab anything, UK, US, Europe, Asia, Africa, across the whole world, just use that TB620 code so they know you're coming from the big six. Let's get into super chats before predictions. Ash says it goes from a 1-0 scrappy win like potential champions to a collapse because of a 1 in a million crazy decision. GRIZZ, you'll never walk alone. Rodri is a humbler. Ibi says, Turkish, in my opinion, this is the biggest match at the Emirates ever. For me, bigger than the Barcelona 2011 win. The belief would get with a win. Can't wait. I am excited for it. I'm more excited than I am nervous, but it is a fine balance. It's like 55-45 for me in terms of excitement to nerves. Ben says, United title charge, SAEED. Arsenal versus City, what's best result for United fans? For United, it's a draw. I don't think I need to ask SAEED that. I think a draw would be the best result for you, innit, SAEED?
Yeah, it's one of them, innit?
Yeah. back in the lab. I've heard about this lab you're talking about. Back in the lab.
Yeah, I just want to give you an update. I don't, obviously, you've been away, but yeah, I've been kicked out of the lab, and the lab, I'm not allowed in. You know what I mean? So it's one of them. If I get access again, you never know. In the future, you never know. But now I'm not allowed in, and that's it.
Say no more. Hissan has been watching for years. Condolence to you and your family, Turkish. The rest of the lads, thank you for the content you provide us. Love, bro. Love for that, man. Waveman says, Turkish, you were missed. Sorry for your loss. I think you are our lucky charm. You're back. Big up, bro. Hopefully, I am, because I am back and it's a massive game coming up. Laka says, big up Turkish and the Big Six community. Thanks for all you guys do. Love for the love, and we keep it moving. Come on, you Gunners. HW, big up Turkish. Good to have you back. We were poor and lucky to get a point, but how can you miss 2 offsides in the same phase? Saliba is my guy, but that bully boy Tony performance scarred him. Well, in terms of scarred, we'll find out in the next, few weeks and months ahead. But it's a learning curve. It could make him better. Khalid says, nice to see you back, Turkish. Hope you're well, my guy. Liverpool managed to make my 23rd birthday today a much better one, and I could not. Happy birthday, Khalid. Hope you enjoyed, my guy. And best wishes. Ryan, Turkish, glad to see you back, my bro. Hope the family and everyone's staying strong. As I lost my nan last year, April, so I know how that must have felt. Donated £10 to Turkey and Syria on your PayPal. Ryan, love for that. I haven't gone through all of the payments yet. I've seen 2 more pop up here. I really appreciate it, people. I'll keep you up to date with how that is distributed. Jay says, many of our players are out of form. Martinelli, White, Xhaka, Ramsdale, Saliba, shaky. Odegaard, quiet. Should have gone stronger in January window. I agree. Raji, when Jesus got injured, many thought there wouldn't even be a title challenge from Arsenal. So credit due for staying top until now. Fair point. Jordan, had my 6th and last full day of chemo today. Long day, but no way I was missing the show. Welcome back, Turkish, and big up the whole panel and community. Hope as well, Jordan. Well done. And touch wood, it all continues to go well, and you receive positive news, and you don't need to go back in treatment. But yeah, keep your head up, my guy. Keep your head up. Mo says, praying to my Turkish and Syrian brothers. Love from Somalia. Let's beat City and shut the haters up. Come on, you Gunners. Love, my brother. Love. Chelsea says, thoughts on Benton. Well, we'll save this one for Tottenham. GRIZZ wins 1 game. Now he's getting cocky again, but becomes the biggest victim when Liverpool was getting dunked on every week. Sneaky guy. Jashar says, big up Turkish, my guy, a real one. My condolences to you and the family for your loss. Big up Matisse, the wild one, and the panel for keeping the show on the road. Turkey and Syria still need our prayers. Listen, it's going to be a long time till both recover fully. Gender says, if that goal is rightfully disallowed, there's a whole different narrative. We'll be talking about sign of champions winning ugly, etc. Potentially. But yeah, we know what the officiating's like in this league. We don't get the points back. We just get an apology. George, Hugh, GRIZZ, Matisse, Turkish to a lesser extent. Still picking Martinelli over Rashford. The utter disrespect towards Rashford. TOBS is a real one. Fair point. Rashford's form has been mad recently. Mad. So if you're asking now, then of course you're picking Rashford without a shadow of a doubt. GRIZZ is right. Arteta can't keep playing same team every week. It's time to drop Saliba for White and Tommy for right back. Martinelli needs a rest. think it's a bit drastic, in my opinion, to be dropping Saliba. I know White's performances are curtailed recently, but I'm more concerned about our attack than our defense at the moment. But that could all change on Wednesday when the big boys come into town. Just like Martinelli and Saliba are young players, Arteta is a young manager, says Jay. Went for it against United and it hurt us. Might have been on his mind. Potentially, but you got to live, you got to learn. And Arteta's done quite well in doing that over the years and find himself in his first title race, you can call it. So, no real time to learn right now. You just got to kind of get it done. Nomad says, we saw this last year with Arteta. I think because we are ahead of schedule, he feels safer waiting till the last minute to make a change. Like I said, you live, you learn. Young T says, this system got us 50 points from 19 games, but the manager should change it because of a blip. We win tomorrow and all of a sudden the past 2 results doesn't matter. 100% agree with that. Love to your family, Turkish, says Phil. Spurs, Greek Cypriot in peace, mate. Those Irish ladies leave a big hole when they pass, but their love is eternal. Yeah. As I said, my grandma was Irish. She was married in Cyprus because my granddad's Turkish Cypriot, but yeah, very close to my Irish side through my nan. Hence the ginger in my beard. Sometimes people ask me, have I dyed it this way? No, it's natural and it'll always be there, and it'll always be a reminder, partly a reminder of my nan too. So big up you. And a lot of people mention the Greek Cypriot thing to me, or Greek, and listen, I've got no problem with Greeks and Greek Cypriots. I know there's history between us and whatnot, but I've got no problems whatsoever as long as the person I'm talking to or the people that I'm engaging with don't as well. Like, that's just how I see it. A lot of countries and a lot of regimes have passed that don't need to be forgotten, but you can't kind of account for in the modern day. Like, I'm Turkish, I live for now and I know what's happened in the past, but at the end of the day, you just got to keep it moving. Arteta needed to change Saliba at half-time and put Tomiyasu for aerial duels. Big up Turkish and the panel. We must win against City. We must. And on top of that as well, the Greek Cypriot side and the Greek and Greece, they've also helped with the earthquake support as well. So listen, big up every single time. Graham Potter needs to pattern up. I'm losing patience with him, especially with his defeatist comments in press conferences. I should have saved that one, but we moved. Turkish, welcome back, brother, says Mickey Chef. My prayers are with you, broski. With that being said, Grizz, make sure you keep wearing that hat. No flip-flops and choosing to support when it benefits. Manu all day. Couple from KP here. Grizz digging out Pep is amateur. No one knows what Pep knows behind the scenes. Pep wouldn't risk his legacy unless he feels there's unjust against them. He's extremely clever. And he also adds, how many of you man going to sit there and pretend that you've read the findings of the CAS report? Grizz, who is your source? Fake news? Well, I haven't. Right, Pep should have done a Klopp and wine for a few minutes and blamed the charges on the rain, says Max. Pep did the best he possibly could in this situation. AK, City got away because of statute of limitations and the evidence came from a questionable source. And UEFA statutes state that it can't be considered, whereas Premier League doesn't care where it comes from and how old it was. Mo says, obviously, Grizz didn't read the findings. And Bouquet says, Grizz, Pep shouldn't talk about things he doesn't know about. Grizz then follows that by talking about a case he's got no clue about. Where are we? A couple more here. Buddy says, don't forget we are the Arsenal and other title-winning seasons. Big up Turkish and well done, Klopp. Rest in peace, my brother-in-law. He was a mad Liverpool fan. You'll never walk alone. Rest in peace. Yeah, sorry to hear that. Kobayashi says, Saliba pocketed Tony in the away game. No one discussed him then. Start Martinelli against City, against the team trying to take him on. He is good. The last 10 minutes against City in the cup, Martinelli was fire. Love the show, broski. Keep it up. Grizz, you look crazy with that helmet, brother. And Ryan again says, are you worried that Arteta and Edu's arrogance stinks and will be our downfall if we don't win this Premier League title, as City's a must-win game? Never really thought of that. I don't really know where the arrogance comes from, if I'm honest with you. Maybe we have to delve into that more. But yeah, I still look at the ownership in January and they haven't changed my opinion on them, that's for sure. Dan says, not sure what I'm more shocked about: Liverpool winning Lilt being rebranded as Fanta. Trust, as good as Arsenal have been, I still think Europa will kill it. Pimp in Distress says, to be clear, CAS operate under statute of limitation. Man City weren't innocent. UEFA allegations were proven. The time bar for statutes meant City lawyers were able to work the system, and the Premier League don't have the same statutes. Big up Turkish. Last one I've got here. Don't forget to draw VAR lines. Corruption. Let's do predictions now. I thought, let me get through. Well, I got through all of the super chats I had there. There's a couple of other clubs that I will get into when we move on to the other clubs, but still 7.6K in the building. Yeah, Arsenal home team. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Arsenal win. I haven't got my pad with me, so let me put it in my phone. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Arsenal win. This is a game that can go any which way, in my opinion, but at home, against a team that are not going to play with a low block, a team that will go for it, I'm going to go 2-1. 2-1 to Arsenal. You?
2-0 Manchester City.
2-0. Cool. SAEED?
I'm going to go with 2-2.
2-2. GRIZZ?
I'm going to go with 2-2 as well.
2-2.
No, sorry. My bad. 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal. TOBS?
I'm going to go... I'm going to go 3-2 Arsenal.
3-2. Matisse?
What's going on?
Are you on mute?
Oh, you're mute.
He's just smiling, laughing to himself.
1-1. I'm going to go 1-1.
1-1. All right, cool. So they're all in. Only one's predicting a Man City win. One draw and the rest, 2 draws and the rest Arsenal wins. Quite surprising, but yeah. We'll see how it goes, people. All the predictions are in. Since that's the only predictions that we're going to make today, I might as well just give an update on the prediction table quickly off of the weekend results. There it is.
I even got a correct score, man.
You know why? Because Grizz got a correct score tonight, the 2-0 Liverpool win. So, all right, for the people listening on audio platform, SAEED still top, 15 correct scores, 92 points. Matisse in second, 14 correct scores, 84 points. HUGH got 11 correct scores, 82 points. I'm in fourth, 8 correct scores, 81 points. GRIZZ fifth, 9 correct scores, 79 points. And TOBS currently at the bottom with 10 correct scores, but 77 points. So that's how
It's tight, boy. It's getting tight.
Yeah, apart from SAEED just running away with it at the top, looking for a 3P. Everyone
I'm going to have to retire after this season, man. You know what I mean?
I'm have to retire. Nah, brother, you're here. You've got to win that off you.
Yeah, man, I can't lie.
I know Matisse has had a long day, stream after stream, and I know he's going away tomorrow early, so I want to move on to Chelsea next, even though it's probably not the most entertaining fixture. But yeah, 1-1, another draw. Matisse, how's it looking over there? How you feeling over there?
Yeah, man, the chat are killing me, fam. They're clocking me. They've clocked me completely. I am finished. Don't do drugs, kids. And you know what I'm saying? I'm very calm right now, but yeah, man is finished. No. I'm not saying I've done anything.
What are
you saying?
You probably need some right now, the way you're lagging.
Nah, bro, man just, I've done a lot of shows in it, so that's what I'm
saying.
Why do you tell them don't do drugs and don't do back-to-back shows?
Because they're trying to insinuate that I've done drugs, so I'm telling them don't.
Okay, I get you.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's mad. I thought you were gonna flipping say something mad then, but yeah, go on.
No. Anyway,
on that stardom.
We drew. We're amortizing these points. You know what I'm saying? Spreading them out over 3 games, we're gonna get them 3 points, more than you can believe. But you know what? Yeah, I think at the moment people are on Potter even more, and it's actually just making me more patient. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the fan base is very split. The polls are very 50-50. People are starting to lose faith with maybe the long-term goals because of obviously the short-term pain with the drop points and obviously. But for me, I'm actually, it's making me more patient because I'm looking at the amount of players we've recruited, and I spoke about it last show in terms of like the instant results and the instant success, which is top 4, right? And everybody expecting that. But when you bring in basically almost a whole new 11, that's going to take time to gel, whether it's little, spend in Nottingham Forest kind of region or big 600 million Chelsea spend. It doesn't change the fact that it's going to take time for it to gel. And I think first half against West Ham, we actually showed that we had something cooking there with Enzo and Felix, and the amount of praise that Felix is getting, you know what I'm saying, from Arsenal side, it only goes to show that this is a player that looks good, looks like he's gonna cause problems. But I said it on the last show, for me, the only instant impacts is Enzo and Felix. And in the first 200 minutes or whatever has been accumulated for those two players, they have made instant impacts. Whereas the rest of them, outside Badiashile, is not the same. So I'm quite calm, to be honest. I'm more than happy to take the heat if people got cooking to do. I'm kind of over it now. I'm not really gonna have the same level of energy that I had in the last time I had to defend Chelsea, because for me, Potter, I'm just gonna let it go to the end of the season. I think let's see what happens. He has to show improvements. A lot of people don't like the way he talks, the quotes that come out. I'm not really bothered, to be honest, about quotes. I'm just interested in what's happening on the pitch. I think last game there was some progression. We didn't win. We need to be winning games, and that's it really. But I'm not gonna, at the first sign of us not getting the instant success that everybody claims Chelsea fans are spoiled that they need to have, I'm not gonna flip. I'm just gonna kind of wait. I've looked at our new signings. I've looked at the amount of minutes they've played, and I'm not expecting anything other than a lack of cohesion and chemistry at the moment. I think with that decision that was made for Souček, if that goes our way, we pick up the 3 points, no one's talking about us. And that's how quickly it changes at Chelsea. When we win, no one talks about us. When we don't win, everybody wants to talk about us. So for me, I'm pretty calm right now. I'm not going to lie.
I think you've been cooked enough over the last couple of weeks. I'm going to say you can go next, but that guy after the game that got knocked out, I think that was more entertaining than the whole
Humble.
Wow.
That was quality.
Yeah, true. Like that and actually just get banged like that. It was all mad. But say over to you.
I think you know what it is, yeah. You normally kind of look at a manager, you say, is he a Chelsea manager? You know, you have to be a certain type of manager to manage Chelsea. And the more I look at it, I think I kind of feel sorry for him, because I'm like, it's a dream job and it's a job that anyone wouldn't want to take. But I just look at him and I think, has he got the minerals to kind of take this job on? And I think it's so soon, but I just think his demeanor right now, I'm looking at his press conference, and listen, you shouldn't judge a manager on press conferences alone. But I just look at the substitutions. I just look at him and I think, I'm not sure about that one. Yeah, substitution was poor. You know what I mean? And again, listen, I could go on Mudryk again. You know what I mean? He's looking a bit mad. But then Cucurella, I looked at his game and I was like, yeah, listen, he wouldn't try to let Mudryk play or anything. He kept going inside and whatnot. But I look at Graham Potter and I think, can he last with this so much pressure at Chelsea? Because ultimately, yes, it's results-based business, but I just look at him and I think, will he command that presence at Chelsea? Because you've got to get it for the fans, you've got to get it for the players, and the board will start to look at that and think, what, is he grabbing this by the scruff of the neck? Is he taking control?
The board have just come out and defended him and doubled down and said they're sticking by him. I think I agree with you. The substitutions were a mess. I think he's shown at least signs that he's willing to drop players that have not been performing, i.e. Mason Mount was taken out of the team. He's shown that he's willing to put Lewis Hall in for Cucurella. Cucurella's been poor again, so maybe Chilwell will get... He's shown that he's actually willing to drop big names, so I was happy to see that the team that was actually put out. I think for me, what's very important is that if you bring in 5, 6, 7 under 23 players in one window and they are bought in on the basis that their manager will be Potter, to sack 2 managers 2 weeks or a matter of days after 2 transfer windows, that looks incredibly stupid. You have to give that manager, if Tuchel, you didn't bring him in, so fine, you're not going to have any loyalties there. But then you can't sack a manager 2 weeks after a transfer window is closed because you didn't get instant results against Fulham and West Ham. You're not giving him any time. And there's also mixed signals to the players, because when the players are coming out and speaking, they're saying, listen, it's going to take time, but we believe in what we're trying to do. For the first time this season, this moment right now, there is some stability. There's no new staff coming in. There's no new manager coming in. There's no transfer and there's no new players. You've got your group. It's a big group, but we know who the core is and who is going to leave. Let that sit. Let that chicken marinate for at least 6 weeks. Do you know what I mean? Let's see what happens. Because if you keep changing, we're going to sack him now and bring in someone else.
Yeah, I've said this. I've said this is a litmus test for your club. This is a test for your club to see if you genuinely have changed direction and all that. But I wanted to pick your brains on something that you pick my brains on sometimes as well. And in terms of like the fan base, so your fan base is quite split. And then you know how you try to suggest that the Liverpool fan base is quite split about Potter now and your ownership model, and a lot of fans want Potter out already. How would you say, is it a 50-50 split? What's the majority? Is it match-going fans? Is it online fans from what's because a lot of drama, a lot of pressure, because there's a lot of divide. I've seen it. Somehow there's a lot of Chelsea fans on my timeline. I don't know why they follow me. I hate your club. Why are you following me? I'm never going to speak nice of your club. But there is a lot of Chelsea fan base, and I don't know, like, I'm with you. I think it's a time to settle back, give the guy a break. And I'm not trying to say this condescendingly, like, you know, like, oh, he's doing a shit job, but I think it's a very, very impossible job right now. And of course he's going to make errors. But where do you stand in this whole Potter out? Because there's a lot of Potter out shouts. Even you will admit.
Yeah, there is. It's very 50-50. But I kind of already said, I don't blame the Chelsea fan base for being Potter out if they are. Like, that's your opinion. I'm just giving my opinion. I don't speak for them. Of course. And I think when you're growing up in a Roman era that is very ruthless and is very much about the instant success, and is also a Chelsea team that have won 2 games in 11 or 12 or 13. I am not surprised to hear people say they want him out when they have no emotional attachment to him. He's not giving you anything in the press conferences. We're not winning games. And we've spent a lot of money. So there's rivals in your ear as well. I have no qualms about people saying that. My opinion is that you might not be gravitated to him, but I would rather leave no stone unturned. I am maybe more patient than the next person in terms of managers, in terms of my tolerance level is very high.
Why is that? Why are you more patient?
My tolerance level is very high because I've seen Chelsea in consistent decline for 5-6 years since the title win under Conte. We have not been competing for the league with the model that we followed under Roman in the last couple of years before he left. We've not been in the Champions League semi-final in between the years of Tuchel winning it and 13-14 when we got knocked out to Atletico Madrid under Jose Mourinho, when Diego Costa and Courtois was playing for Atletico Madrid. That's how long that gap of us being in the Champions League semi-final. So we're not competing. And I don't worship fourth. So this whole instant success is basically sack him and get top 4. I don't care. I want top 4, obviously, for obvious reasons, but I don't worship top 4. If we have to come out of top 4 for people to understand that this squad needed an overhaul, which is what we got in January, and then we go better and beyond to actually compete next year or the year after, I'm willing to take that, because top 4 without consistently winning the Champions League or you know, it doesn't mean anything. For me, it doesn't mean anything. We've won 1 Champions League, 2 Champions League in what, 10, 11 years, something like that. So we're not consistently up there. So for me, I'm quite tolerant. And I think Potter's not a bad coach. His mannerisms is a bit fishy, but I'm not going to ask him to be somebody that he's not, because I don't want him to fake it. People will see right through that as well. So that's another thing. Now, maybe he's going to grow into it. I don't know if he's the right man. I have no idea if he's going to get the job done. I don't know where his shelf life is in terms of what his capping. He might take us to top 4, develop young players, get the clear out, and then need to be sacked for an elite coach, or he might win. Or I don't know what he's going to do. But we fucked around. Now we're going to find out. That's the saying, right? You fucked around enough. Now you're going to find out. And for me, sacking him when you haven't even given him an opportunity to actually use the young players that you just bought that are meant to improve Chelsea's attack. Chelsea have actually a decent defensive record. When you compare it to the other teams in the top 10, we have a better defensive record than, I think, Man United, than Tottenham. And the issue is scoring goals. Man City have scored over double the goals of us. But when you look at the 2 teams' defensive records, we actually have conceded similar goals to them. Our attack, we're not clinical. Our midfield is imbalanced. We've now tried to correct those issues. So now we have to see if that works with this manager. I think anything other than that for me is too soon. So that's how I see it personally. And like I said, I've seen the minutes accumulated for the new signings. Everyone says 600 million spent. Go through each individual signing. How many times have they played on that pitch with combinations? Because I know you're going to say SAEED, but People say they want to see it. People say they want to see a style from a coach, and then they realize that
You're not going to get
people say they want to see a style from a coach, but then they realize Chelsea have picked up per game 1 injury per match, and then they wonder why no chemistry has been established between player to player. 1 minute you're using Aspilicueta right back, now it's Reece James is back. 1 minute you're using.
What relevance is losing Aspilicueta?
No. I'm saying to you, if you take a look at Chelsea's starting 11 from the end of December, you take a look at Chelsea's starting 11 now, it's 2 completely different teams. So when you go to 13 games not winning, I understand that, but now he's working with a whole new team. So that's the whole point. I'm trying to see how that team goes. When you pick up injuries, like Liverpool have, whenever Liverpool pick up injuries, TOBS, you're very quick to give them their flowers and say, oh, but when Chelsea have had half their squad injured, you don't want to talk about it. So at the end of the day, at the end of the day, Chelsea have had
just lied.
Well, then you understand my point then.
No, I understand your point about the injuries. I don't understand your point around the expectations. Just because
I've told you already, you can say expectations. I'm a walk before I can run, because as we can see, since you've said that, we've not won a game.
Respectfully, I don't care what you're going to do, right? I'm talking about what is the expectation of a team that are in your shoes. Because this is not exclusive to Chelsea. If it was Spurs that spent this money, you would be saying the same thing. There is no way on earth that you have assembled this team and you're telling me there's no expectation on this team.
Let me tell you something. Yeah, this is the difference between.
I get your logic. I get your logic. I'm only going to say this. I get your logic. I completely understand your logic, but I'm not going to agree with it because in the end of the day, this is a squad that is capable of potentially finishing in the top 4 this season. This is a squad that is capable of going deep in the Champions League. This is a squad that's capable of doing both these things. So respectfully, I'm not trying to hear this, top, I don't respect top 4. Fair enough. You may not respect it, but there has to be a minimum expectation.
The problem with your logic.
You may not respect it, but there has to be a minimum expectation of this team.
But the problem with
my last point, the Chelsea teams that we've grown up on, you shit on me all constantly for a lack of trophies, this, that, and the third, etc., etc. When you speak on Chelsea, you associate Chelsea with success, trophies. Champions League is the bare minimum. And now you're telling us that the bare minimum that you've had, even in seasons where you've been just as bad as this, you've been wishy-washy, you've been out of sorts. We shouldn't expect that this season with 600 million spent.
Listen, you can expect whatever you want, but the problem with your situation here is if he doesn't make it, what is your opinion? Do you sack him? Because this word expectation. Yeah, okay, but that doesn't make any sense because you have to mention Graham Potter. You're saying that expectation is top 4. You must. So I'm expecting you at the end of the season, if we don't make top 4, to tell me that Graham Potter needs to be sacked because he's not met expectation. This word that you've put out, expectation, it doesn't mean anything without consequences. If you have expectations at work and you don't meet those expectations, then there has to be consequences. I'm telling you that if he doesn't make top 4, he will not be sacked. I'm telling you that if he doesn't make top 4, they're probably going to give him the next season. So what's the point of throwing out the word expectation when there's no consequences? For me, like I said, he needs to be making top 6 minimum and he needs to be knocking on the door of top 4. We will see if he gets top 4 or not based on circumstance of the season. But he's not going to get sacked.
Top 6.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're not saying anything.
For me,
you're not saying anything here. I didn't mention Graham Potter because I know that his job is safe. They wouldn't have sacked. Who's the expectation on? Is it on Potter? Or is it on who is it on? It's on you as an institution. Me. Am I playing? Am I playing? Am I playing? Brother, it's quite clear what I'm saying. I don't know why you're trying to do all these mental gymnastics and talking about all these words about Graham Potter. If Graham Potter doesn't finish in the top 4 this season, it's a failure. It's a fact. It's a failure because he got the job. Did I say it wasn't? But that's the point I'm making. So when you're talking about expectation, I'm saying there has to be an expectation. The way you're talking, you're basically making it sound. I said to you on the last show, the way you've just spoken there, you've basically made it sound as if, if Chelsea finish outside the top 4, it's all right. I don't really care about top 4 anyway. I'm saying my tolerance shouldn't be like that. No, you're not listening. My tolerance, what I'm tolerating, because my patience. If Graham Potter makes top 4, I've already said this, that is not success.
You're not listening to me. If Graham Potter and Chelsea make top 4, that is not success. Do you understand?
That is success.
It's not a success in my opinion.
In relation to the season, it is.
In my opinion, it's not.
Matisse, why are you talking about success? Nobody has mentioned the word success.
No, because with success comes failure, right?
What?
With success, you said it. You said listen. You said
you Martin Luther King now with success.
No, bro, listen to me.
That's just a Martin Luther King saying. You just said for no reason.
Bro, you just said. Hold on a second. You just said if he doesn't make top 4, it's a failure. So you're saying if he makes top 4, it's a success, right?
No, I'm saying if he makes top 4, it's the minimum expectation for this squad. That's what I'm saying, bro. If he doesn't make it, it's a failure. You should be finishing in the top 4. I said this all the way back in, when was it? September, October, when he got the job. This squad on paper is good enough to finish in the top 4. So what are you saying here?
But this is my issue. When you're looking at the season linearly, this is my problem.
Linearly,
yes, I also said, listen, this is where you're not
even a word.
This is what's so frustrating because you're not grasping my
I've grasped your point.
No, you're not hearing it. When he first came in, I agreed with you. I said he needs to make top 4, right? With that team. But then he's gone and we've gone and overhauled the whole team. Do you understand? We've gone and overhauled the whole team. We've fallen off. You're not getting it. I'm only going to explain this once and I'm going to dip because I'm actually mad. But listen. When he first came in, I said he needs to be making top 4 with that team, right? Because that was instant impact. That's what I was going along with. Now, in January, we've overhauled and flipped the whole team, and we are further away from top 4 than we were than when he came in. So now I'm not expecting him to get it because I'm seeing that now they're trying to build in the long term, and it's going to take time for things to gel. I don't know how many points they're going to pick up. That's what I'm saying. Do you understand?
Brother, I've understood what you've been saying throughout this. But what
you're nasty then. You're nasty then. If you
what you are not getting is the general expectation. How can a man who was expected to finish top 4 in September get? You say it's an overhaul. I see it as you actually adding more quality to this team. You've added like 4 starters to this team, but the expectation should be decreased.
The chat's killing me.
It's in the context of the season, Toby. In the context of the season, top 4 will be a success based on performances and the way the results have panned out, not based on the quality they just have on paper within the squad. It's much bigger than just what's in the squad. I get what he's saying, and I get what you're saying.
Toby's acting like as if he. Toby's acting like as if Toby is acting like.
Where's this?
No. Toby is playing dumb, and it's funny because he's actually getting a lot of the support from the chat. But fair play. Toby is acting like as if football is just about the quality that's on the pitch or the supposed quality, because half of the players that we brought in, Toby doesn't even know these players. He's never watched them consistently. So the only instant starters that I'm talking about is Enzo and Felix, because they're players I've watched. How much do you know about Badiashile? How much do you know about Badiashile? How much do you know about
not much? I know he was a regular for Monaco. I don't know much about Pedro Porro as well.
You've not watched none of these players.
What's your point?
None of these players, but you're talking about they're going to give us instant success when you've not watched them. You don't know their level. You know they're young and they're developing, but suddenly I'm meant to put bare expectation on players that I don't even know. You're smart. I know what you're doing. You're very clever. You are trying to be stupid. Man. You're like, Chelsea have spent
you're
this
actually
much.
Jokes. You think you won here?
No, you think you're clever. You know.
I don't think I'm clever. You
know that just because you spend money, it doesn't equate to success. It doesn't equate to anything.
You're jokes, man.
It doesn't equate to anything.
So let me guess. Just because I wasn't watching Ukrainian league week in week out, I don't know about Mudryk. Just because I wasn't watching Monaco week in week out, I don't know. I don't know Badiashile's name. Just because I wasn't watching Benfica week in week out, I don't know of Enzo Fernandez. Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't say Enzo. No, I didn't say Enzo. I said Felix and Enzo. Atletico Madrid. Don't try that. Yeah? I said Felix and Enzo for instant start.
That is 4 starters. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 starters.
Oh wow! Starters that go into a team in 10th. Mad.
A team that you predicted to finish top 4.
Brother, they're in 10th. You predicted to win a trophy. What's going on for you, fam? It doesn't make a difference.
What's in the FA Cup?
Doesn't matter what I predicted. Who gives a shit what I predicted? This is the Premier League.
You know
Who cares what I predicted?
In the interest
I made that prediction with Tuchel in charge. I made that prediction with Thomas Tuchel in charge. A manager Hold on a second. I made that prediction with Thomas
I'm
Tuchel.
done. Make
No,
the
because
point.
you're just moving mad. You're acting like
I'm
as
done.
if I didn't make that prediction with Thomas Tuchel in charge. I now have Graham Potter in charge, a manager that I just said we're gonna fuck around and see.
Can you just call him a donkey and get it done with?
No,
And
no,
just
no,
move on?
Torbs is this close to being called a donkey.
It's
Yeah.
just mad. It's just mad how Tobes is trying to take my prediction with an elite manager that won the Champions League and got to every final and
I
every
wasn't talking about
competition.
your prediction.
And you're trying to put it with a
Brother,
man.
Liverpool won a game of football, man. I need
You're
to
trying to
talking about
put
your
it with a
prediction
man.
with Thomas Tuchel.
You're trying to
You
put it.
literally
Let's talk about Gakpo, man.
Matisse,
talk
you
about
literally just said 5 minutes ago, I predicted Graham Potter when he got the job. Top 4 is the
It's a good
expectation.
goal.
I'm talking about what you said. Your expectation for Potter.
Yeah, but bro, I don't rate
Yeah.
Potter as highly as I rate Tuchel.
I'm not. Why are you mentioning Tuchel?
Because
I'm
you're taking my prediction
your
from the
words.
start.
I'm Graham
Yeah,
Potter. Why do you
bro.
keep mentioning stuff that I've not said? Why have you mentioned Tuchel? You
You
literally
just mentioned that you mentioned Fernandes. I didn't
when
say
Graham
Fernandes.
Potter came, guys, did he not say when Graham Potter came in? When Graham Potter came in, my expectation was top 4. So why is it so mad for Tobes to think that in January, when you sign 4 new starters to this
We're
team,
not where we are. We're not where we are now. Where we were then.
not my business?
You're a fucking idiot. Fuck.
There we go. There we go. We've got him.
Matisse, I'm going to let you go in a sec. Let me just get the Chelsea super chat in before we move on. Point says, no, Matisse, these improvements in Chelsea is not Potter changing things. It's just Enzo and Felix carry job. He isn't doing shite. DM says, Potter has been here for 6 months, done nothing. He even sent out a message basically saying we'll lose to Dortmund. We're 10th. How is that acceptable? Blaze says, with all due respect, Tobes, Chelsea don't care about expectations rivals put on them. When Todd and his team signed Potter, they lowered their own expectations. UO says, I don't agree that Roman was instant success. Conte and Sarri wanted to leave. Lampard was new to management. Thomas Tuchel was the only world-class coach we've had recently. And Edgar says, I think Chelsea have too much pride associated with them. They should be top 5, but they need to slowly build a solid foundation too. Adrian says, Matisse is cooking Tobes. He's 100% right. He just understands ball better than Tobes. The chat is mostly rival fans who are brain dead, but real people know. And more
Leave it, Tobes. Leave it.
Yeah, no, I said my bad, Chelsea fans. I'm bare dumb. Sorry.
When it was Arsenal, Matisse was Arteta out. Potter spent even more than Arteta, and he's defending.
Sorry, was I Arteta out in the first season? You finished
leave
8th.
it.
No, because bro, they're talking like as if this.
I
is...
know. We know, innit? We know.
I know.
Did I mention Arteta in his first season? Did I mention when he finished 8th the first time or the second time, bro? If Potter finishes 8th next year, do you think I'm going to be talking like this?
Yeah, we know.
Talk about Arteta, please.
Don't talk. Yeah. Shut up.
This is a Chelsea fan, by the way, so I'm going to finish. Get Potter's piece out of your mouth. We're 10th. Have shame.
Why some of the names are killing me?
And some of the names have been classed. And Regine says, let me be the voice of reason. Didn't a Premier League team get promoted by a crap ton of players and went down as a result? Chelsea will need time to gel. You can't just mix 10 man and expect success. Thank you for the super chats, every one of you. Matisse has got a flight in the morning. So does SAEED, but I'm going to let Matisse go. Matisse, obviously love my guy. We'll see you back here Thursday. Safe flight.
No, fuck you. Tobes, yeah. You're a prick. You're a bastard. You're a donkey.
Man, Manscaped.
No, Matisse leaves. Matisse, love for the love, my guy.
20% off.
This show is sponsored by Manscaped, the leaders in below the waist grooming. Listen up, nerds. If you don't want to be virgins and don't have your balls looking like gremlins, use the code TB620, manscaped.com.
He's gone.
Manscaped, you know.
There you go, people. Hit the like button. Get something from Manscaped, 20% off TB620. One came in. Martin Luther King has a dream. My condolences to you and the family. Turkish love, always love for the love. Let's keep it moving because we're already out 43 minutes. Still 3 more teams to discuss. To be honest, Tottenham ain't top of the agenda, but also losing 4-1 to Leicester is a bit of a mad one. So I'm going to pass over to Tobes quickly to kind of give his thoughts on that. I'm not sure. I ain't got nothing to say about Tottenham right now. You know,
to be honest, I'll even say this as well. Shameless as it sounds, I'm even annoyed that it's been raised towards the end of the show because I actually wanted you lot to cook me and cook Spurs because they deserve it, man. They actually make me sick to my stomach, man. And it's typical. It's absolutely typical. Last season, beat Man City 3-2. What did we do? We went to lose to Burnley, and it resulted in me getting booted off TalkSport for swearing because man, they were pissing me off. Right? This time around, I missed the game because I had shit going on, and I see the alert that we're 1-0 up. I'm like, oh sweet, and then I see full time 4-1. It's just it's embarrassing, man. I was doing my research before the game as well. Leicester have the joint second most defeats this season in the league. Leicester before that Spurs game had only won one of their last like 5 or 6 Premier League matches. Yeah, their defense has been a complete shambles this season. Guess how many goals they've conceded? Oh, better yet, guess how many goals we've conceded? Because I've got it up right here. Guess how many goals we conceded?
Go on, we don't want to guess, man, about your shit.
No, I want you to guess. I want you to
What
guess.
this season? What this season?
This season, yep.
How many games?
23 games.
36.
35.
50.
35. You got it right. 35. Leicester's defense, man, Leicester's defense has been so piss poor, getting ragdolled. They've conceded 3 goals more than Spurs' defense. How embarrassing is that?
You seen? By the way, someone said the same as Saeed's career mode. That's funny. You know what it is? I've just seen Conte's quotes as well, man. I don't know if he's all there as well.
Research, yeah. I like this. I like this new SAEED, yeah. Football focus.
It just came up on Fabrizio Romano. You know what I mean? I don't know if all is well there, but you know what I mean?
But you know all isn't well, though. Don't say it. I don't know if all is well. You know damn well all isn't well.
No, I'm not saying as in like, you know, the team morale and, you know what I mean? I don't know. Last week, you know what I mean? The manager puts a morale performing win, and then Conte comes back and, you know what I mean? I don't know. Just saying, innit? Like, assistant manager had a bit of tact and whatnot. But anyway, now I just think for me, certain man just need to be sold, innit? Let's just be real, like, you know, Eric Dyer is for one. Like, can I don't know why he's persisting with it. I don't know what he thinks is going to bring him every week, but this persistent with Eric Dyer, it's an absolute shambles. Honestly, again, I don't know what's going on there. For me, the big one, though, and I think this is a big one. Like Emerson Royal had the best game of probably in a Tottenham shirt the week before, and then he dropped for Pedro Porro. Like, I mean, I'm sorry, but that for me, it's like the game that you need to play in. And if there's any game when you're on the back of a big win where Emerson Royal was your best player, and then it's dropped, I don't understand that. For me, I would think it would have been more easier transition for Pedro Porro to play the Champions League game. And then this idea that I seen online where Tottenham fans are saying advantage Tottenham because Lloris ain't played. I mean, do you know who Fraser Forster is? Like, do you guys know who Fraser Forster is? This guy is literally, bro, he can't even dive across the floor, man. The guy is so slow. Like, brother, I don't know what this guy is, but that is typical Tottenham, man. The history of Tottenham. Tottenham do this all the time.
You've got vlogs to look forward to, though. You'll get more insight with Ben Foster and his vlogs, you know?
He's not coming, man. He's not coming, bro. I tweeted this morning. Fuck Ben Foster. They may as well call Casey Keller, call Paul Robinson. That's the case. That's the route they're going around now. And then they want washed up English managers. I mean, washed up English goalkeepers. Obviously, he's done American, but washed up English goalkeepers to come and play between the sticks, man.
And then also to kind of compound it all, for me, your best midfielder's out for the season.
It's a mess. The season's done. The season's done.
What? Season's done?
The season's done, bro.
No top four.
No, the season's done. I can see the top four after the Villa game. Yeah, but it's done, bro. It's done. Bentancur's out for 6 to 8 months. Basuma's out for 2 to 3 months, which only leaves an out of form Højbjerg, who only plays his best football with Bentancur in the team. Skip and Pape Matic. Lloris is out for 6 to 8 weeks. Even that scrub Sessegnon, he's out for 6 weeks, which means Perisic is our only left-sided defender, and he's playing horribly right now. He's playing horribly right now.
Yeah,
bro, like, we're a top-heavy team. We're a massively top-heavy team. So the season's done. The season's done.
I just find it crazy. And like I said, I don't know, man. I think, you know what I mean? It's one of them situations now where how do you motivate a Conte guy who's talking about my heart is with Italy. Like, brother, like, I don't know. It's very ugly at Tottenham now. All of a sudden, last week you're celebrating and it's all rosy, and then now it's just kind of like that's the problem with Conte's team and Tottenham.
It's a mess.
There's no in between. It's just
there's
almost like
there's no consistency with Spurs, and I'll say it similar to what I said with GRIZZ, and same thing I said at the start of the season. Saying that if Spurs don't finish top 4, it's a failure. It's a massive failure. Finished 4th last year with a worse off squad, and now with a better squad, you're finishing. I don't even know where we can finish this season. 5th, 6th, 7th. I don't know. It's a failure. It's a failure. The Conte experiment is done. It's finito, bro. Like, it's done. It's over. I said this after the Arsenal game. It's done, bro.
I think it's over. I think
it's whatever, bro.
I think it's done as well. I just read that. I just read that same statement. He ends with saying, "But you never forget." He just said, after Chelsea, this Tottenham experience or chapter in my life, you know, its atmosphere, stadium is amazing. I love it. It's so easy to fall in love with the English football. But he says, but you never forget your first love, and Italy will always be my first love. Which is fine, which is understandable. That's not crazy to say that, but that performance was one of those ones where it's not acceptable. And I know Toby, I don't need to rub it in and say anything more than Toby said. Yeah, it's not acceptable. There's no way. I'm saying it as a Liverpool fan who's lost in that kind of situations, and I've said it's not acceptable. And it's not. Antonio Conte, especially, the thing is, what makes it worse and more bemusing is it's after a performance like they gave last week against Man City, which we all praised and bigged up. And we all said that is a Conte performance. And then he goes and then they go and do this. I don't know. I seriously don't know what you would say.
It's a combination of things, man. I think the defense is dog shit. That's one. But I also think the team, like, I don't know, like, I compare the performances last season at Leicester's ground versus this season. Last year, we went to Leicester's ground with a team that was worse on paper in comparison to the team that we put out on the weekend. And we absolutely bopped Leicester off the park. People will say, oh, yeah, Spurs won that game 3-2, 2 late goals, but no one will talk about the fact that we had like 25 attempts on their goal. We created like 7 or 8 big chances in that game. The intensity that we played at with the how aggressive we were, like Conte as a manager in terms of his tactical decisions that game, it worked for treat. And yet 1 year later, I'm seeing Conte, I'm seeing a team that are creating 0.23 open play XG. Like, that's embarrassing against one of the worst defenses we've seen in the league this season. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. And that's why, like, this is why Conte gets criticism, because when you watch Spurs play, don't even forget about the defensive mistakes. The defensive mistakes are shocking. But where's the plan on the ball? How are Spurs going to score a goal? You've got Harry Kane, Son, and Kulusevski, who are all shit on Saturday, by the way. Kulusevski was awful. Son was awful. Kane was pants. But you've got all this attacking quality at your disposal, and yet we don't look like scoring. You've got 2 attacking players on the bench. You don't bring them on until the game is dead and buried, right? And then when you bring them on, I'm seeing Richarlison drop deep. Harry Kane is the one that's staying up top. Son can't do no wrong in this manager's eyes. Even no matter how bad Son's playing, he'll never come off the pitch. It doesn't make sense. It's stupid, man. It's proper stupid. And then it's compounded by shocking defenders. Eric Dyer, I don't even know what he's doing for those goals. Højbjerg, absolute stripper for the 4th goal. I don't know where he's going. Too much talk on Pedro Porro. People slamming Pedro Porro. But I watched the game back. I watched the game for 90 minutes, and the hyperbole was insane. He wasn't good. Harvey Barnes had a good game. Pedro Porro wasn't good, but he by no means was the worst player in the Spurs team. I'm not looking at him as the reason why Spurs have lost that game.
Enough.
Spurs are shit, man.
A couple of super chats have come in. Big respect to you, Turkish. I'm a bit behind on the stream, but from a Spurs fan to a Gooner, I offer my condolences. Stay strong. Love for the love. Chelsea, great. Thoughts on Bentancur injury for the season and what that could possibly mean for Spurs' top 4 hopes? Answered already. Love to you, Turkish, and the rest of the big 6. Thank you.
Sorry, I know we ain't got time, but just very quickly on this, because I saw some comments about injuries. Normally, I don't make a big fuss about injuries. Spurs have had injuries throughout this season. I've not really complained and moaned about injuries. We've had Richarlison, Kulusevski, Bentancur's been injured before. Romero's been out. We've had injuries, and I've not really done much complaining. But when you have your best midfielder out for 8 months, it's collapsed. The thing is collapsed. And then our second best midfielder on paper, Basuma, out for 2 to 3 months. So we won't see two guys who were meant to rely upon to start for basically the rest of the season. It's done. It's done.
Osman, welcome back. Turkish Big Six is wild without you. TOBS told SAEED to get off his knees, and he replied, "Why?" Then Fuizzi said, "I didn't even see that bit." Then Fuizzi said, "Nunes gives Suarez vibes." Cool. Tottenham done, although TOBS would have liked to delve into it more. Time is of the essence. GRIZZ, first win in a little while. We'll touch on Liverpool and then wrap it up with Man United. So go ahead.
Yeah, very basic, very quick. I brought out the war hat for one last time. If we didn't win today, I was going to throw this in the bin. It cost me about £15. Like equivalent of Turkish money. Where did I buy it from? Turkey or Morocco? I can't remember. One of them places. I think it was in Morocco I bought it. But equivalent of £15, which is a lot of money, man, in them countries as well, man. But I was going to throw it in the bin if we didn't beat Everton. That's how confident I was. You lot saw my prediction. I said it with chest. And the boys done what they had to do, finally turned up. I don't think we played well. There was not much fluidity. There was not much cohesion in our play, but there was effort, desire, attitude, all the boring stuff that we needed to show that we hadn't been showing, and we showed all of that. A lot of people were laughing at the matchups in midfield, how they're going to eat us after they showed how they ate your midfield and how they performed against you lot. Everyone, including all the brothers here, and MATISSE is gone now as well, laughed. Well, you're not laughing now. We turned up. We put in a solid display, not a great display. Mohamed Salah, certain people looking to Salah to rise. Salah rose. Salah rose again and again and again. When it comes down to it, Salah rises. Had a tremendous game, had his better game. Come on, where you want to go at this time of night, brother?
No, I just.
No, where you want to go at this time of night? What do you mean? How am I being shameless? Like, can I not speak on my team? See how this triggers you lot? Is this the same Everton that beat Arsenal last week? Is this the same Everton? Is this the same Everton? What was Everton Man United score? Like, how are you dissing Everton now? Exactly. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. Everton.
No, hold on.
Everyone last week was saying, yeah, that midfield is gonna eat Liverpool's. It didn't. I need to just shout out very quickly. It's no season-changing win. It's not. We're not back. Yeah. No. But I needed to see effort, desire, attitude, all of that business, and we've seen that. Shout young Stefan Majestic Bajetic,
quality player,
18-year-old, and my God, he's giving me monster vibes already. And let's hope he carries on like that. And that's it, really. Yeah, big up Salah, big up Robertson. You know what I mean? We got a massive 2 games coming up against Newcastle away and Real Madrid. It's one of those ones, please rescue our season. We can rescue the season and make something of it. But it's small steps, and it was another small step in the right direction.
Do you think with the way Tottenham are playing, and obviously Newcastle playing that, do you think you've got a chance in this top 4 race? Because I know you said last week top 4 gone.
If we win at Newcastle, yes.
Top 9 points behind with a game in hand last time.
2 games in hand.
2 games in hand.
What, Newcastle?
Oh no, not Newcastle. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
we're not in the top 4. Newcastle are 4th.
Yeah. Newcastle. Sorry, I'm still looking at Spurs for some reason.
But Liverpool are 9 points. 9 points.
Yeah, with 2 games in hand.
Newcastle, no, with 1 game in hand on Newcastle.
Yeah. So if they win,
you've got 2 games in hand on Spurs. You've got 1 game in hand on Newcastle.
Oh, so we go 6 points behind if we win our game in hand.
Yeah, and then you go 6 points if you beat Newcastle, and then you got a game in hand. You could go 3 points.
Yeah. See, there you go. That's what I mean. So we need to win against our Newcastle next week. It's not on yet now. Come back to me soon, though. We keep in touch, innit? Keep in touch.
We'll keep in touch.
Now,
thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much for giving me a couple of minutes on Liverpool's win, and we keep it moving now. So come on, man. Look at the time. Don't start on bench teacher shit, man.
He's got a flight to catch in the morning as well, Barcelona.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he wants to kind of wrap it up. But United keep on rolling. Rashford keeps on scoring.
Yeah.
What is it? 2 points behind City now. You play the game more.
You'd expect them to kind of, Peter Ray and whatnot. But listen, I think for me, it was a much needed win, man. Probably the most frustrating game ever. Leeds, without doing a lot, they were doing a lot, if that makes sense. They had one clear-cut chance. I think it was Somerville. I think De Gea stopped it with his feet, but they were pressuring us. We were giving the ball away. It just wasn't materializing. But tactical switch from bringing on Martinez and then obviously playing Weghorst in that 10 role. Don't know if you guys seen the Weghorst role in that 10 role. It was unbelievable. And then we just started to pick up the kind of pace of the game. And then obviously, Rashford again this season been very, very good. I think that's 21 goals this season. Amazing form. Shout out to Benny McCarthy. I don't know if people know, but we hired Benny McCarthy as a striking coach, and he was a wonderful striker back in his day, Porto days. Wonderful header of the ball. So he's come in and obviously worked on Rashford's ability, and it's showing. It's showing, and fair play to Ten Hag for bringing him in. So I think that's had a very, very good effect on Rashford. And obviously Garnacho coming on as well, impact, got the 2 goals. But listen, that was a big game. It's a derby. It's a big rivalry. And I think, just looking at that result and then looking at Tottenham yesterday, I just didn't want to be part of it. I even went on Instagram Live at, half-time? I was like, listen, let's do our job tomorrow because I'm not looking to get involved with you lots messing around and your mishaps. I want to get the 3 points. And we did that, man. And sometimes you look back on that, you think, you know what? Now I look back on that Leeds draw midweek and I'm like, okay, we came back from 2-0 and we got the draw. You know what I mean? It doesn't look so bad now. So, yeah, man, listen, it's a massive 3 points. And we move now to Leicester City, but sandwiched in between Barcelona. And Leicester got 2 wins down the bounce. They've got a little mini revival all of a sudden. So that's not going to be easy as well. But listen, we're just coasting along, man. We're doing our thing. You know what I mean? What happens after? We'll see. But, it is what it is. We're just doing our thing, man. You get me?
Tell us where you're at with the title race, Saeed. Should Arsenal and City draw on Wednesday night? Where does that leave you?
Where does it leave us? It leaves us where we are. You know what I mean? I think we'll still be.
Can I ask a question, Saeed?
Yeah.
Sorry. Listen, I was calm with everything you said about United. I thought it was a scrappy game. Leeds had chances, but at the end of the day, you took yours, they didn't. But you made a statement that had me in hysterics. You actually said that Weghorst had an unbelievable game in the 10.
Yeah.
Do you stand by that statement?
When he played in that little 10 role, I thought he was magnificent. Yeah.
Now, you know what I need you to do though? I need you to take back that Weghorst Berbatov comparison.
Yeah, you know what it is here? We're not going to do this every day because, like I said, I think that £2 super chat got wild. You know what I'm saying?
You are really forcing this Berbatov thing.
No, I'm not forcing it. I'm just saying. I'm just letting you know what happened.
Crazy. How did you watch that game yesterday and come to this conclusion that Weghorst had an unbelievable game in the 10?
No. I said a cameo. The cameo he had in the 10 role was very good. I'm just, bro. If you did you watch that bit where Weghorst was in that 10 role? Come on, yo, tell me. You're trying to go away with this comment and stretch it. When Weghorst went that 10 role, he was cooking, man. When he was cooking. All I'm saying, he was cooking in that 10 role, and Ten Hag was a tactical genius because Bruno wasn't doing anything in that 10 role. All of a sudden, Weghorst went in that 10 role. Bro, he was cooking, man. So
Mountain Weghorst, huh?
What the fuck was he cooking?
Bro, he was cooking. He had a hand in the goal. Did you watch the game? He had a hand in the goal.
He made one pass to Pippin.
He got in the positions, man.
Yeah, but I don't want to call out just Saeed. Like a lot of United tacticos were talking about Mountain Weghorst in the 10, like he done something.
No, I'm not saying that role, but it was a stroke of genius from Ten Hag. It took him away from that striking.
Genius, I just think,
you're reaching, Saeed, man. You're reaching.
I'm just gonna be real.
I'm reaching. I think it was a stroke of genius from Ten Hag.
I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna be very real. Shout out to Shaw, who's been brilliant at left back,
Yeah, yeah.
centre back, wherever he's been played. Yeah, shout out Shaw and shout out Rashford, who's literally a one-man wrecking machine
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Man United right now. Shut
And
up with the
shout out-
Mountain Weghorst
and shout
shouts.
out Martinez.
Shut up with the
Martinez
Anthony
came on
and the
the pitch.
Sancho revivals and
Martinez
all of that
came on the
business.
pitch and bossed
Why
him.
should we shut up
General.
about Sancho revival?
General.
And
Martinez,
there is no
Leandro.
Sancho revival.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but
He
shout
had-
out the players. The rest of them, like
Okay.
all this tactical master plan from him putting Weghorst in the Tottenham. I'm like, get out of it, man. That's all wild chat. But at the end of the day, we need to speak on Rashford, and he's getting applause. But Shaw is probably playing the football of his life right now. So big up Shaw.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He was amazing as well. Like I said, he plays centre back role, and like I said, again, flawless, man. He's just got that technical security. You know what I mean? He's got that intelligence about him. No one can question Shaw's ability. It's never been his ability. It's been his mentality, and sometimes that's more than ability. Sometimes because you have to be consistent. You have to know that you can play at this level, and he hasn't done that. And he has to find that consistency. So I think for me, he deserves credit. And like I said, Lisandro Martinez coming on and just giving us that kind of, you know, because it's different. Maguire's not it, man. Let's not kid ourselves. Maguire's not it. So Lisandro coming in, and then we got the game done, man. And like I said, the 3 points was the main thing. Leeds will be aggrieved because they were probably the better team on the day. But yes, you need to get the ball back in the net, and they can't do that, and we can. So it's what it is.
Let's see what super chats have come in on United. We've just passed 2 hours, people. So hit the like button, get it up to 3K. We've passed 2. David says, surely Chelsea and United go for an out-and-out striker next season. Both seriously missed one. Would you both take Tony? Betting allegations aside. I think most teams in the Big Six take him right now. Probably not City. Probably not Liverpool. Aside from those, I think every other Big Six side takes Tony. SAEED, you said yeah?
Yeah, like I said, that's the problem though. It's everything is on that. You know what I mean? The betting allegations. But I want Victor Osimhen. You know what I mean? That's just my number one target.
Yeah, and we've got a few from HKN Music in the building as well. My guy, hope you're well. Barca lucky half our squad out, but we're still going to smoke on that Barca pack Thursday. Casemiro will not let some kids like Pedri and Gavi embarrass us. Obviously, that big Europa League fixture coming up. SAEED will be there. Hogwarts balled out at the 10. Shake my head. Bruno should take some notes. You must have not watched the game. To be honest, I didn't watch the 90 minutes, but Weghorst 10 and unbelievable on paper. It sounds, mental is the word. SAEED, do not let toes rattle. You guys never won anything in this life. They're 3 in a row, back to back. Love for the love, my guy. Hope you're all good and well, like I said. Last one here from Epneen. Man United fans are so jokes. Some are saying Weghorst can be their Joe Linton. Some even imagined him in a double pivot with Casemiro. Peak times.
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot what people said, but I don't think people said that. So yeah,
a double pivot with Casemiro. Hey, let me not say too much anyway. All right, cool. Still 6.4K here. Listen, people, love for the love, love for all the love, like I said, that I've received over the last 2 weeks. Love for all the donations. I'll continue updating you guys and girls where the money will be going. Love to HUGH, SAEED, GRIZZ, TOBS, and Matisse. Make sure you subscribe to their channels, all in the description below. THUGGERY too. He will be back real soon. So look out for it.
I'm just a few hundred away from 25K. That's massive for me. I'm mad humbled with that support. So just a few hundred away from 25K. So please, let's try and make that happen this week.
Come on, this week. Let's make it happen in the next few days. And I've just checked mine. I'm 400 away from 80K. So people, subscribe. Let's hit the targets, people. Show some love all round. Subscribe is free. Hit the like button. It's free. Show some love to every single one of us here. Make sure if you use Manscaped, use the code TB620, and that'll give you 20% off. And aside from that, we'll be back Thursday. Champions League football's back. Europa League football's back. Man City play Arsenal at the Emirates. So Thursday is due to be a big one. SAEED won't be on Thursday's show because he'll be in Barca. So I'll be looking to get someone in place of SAEED. Let me know who you guys want to see in the comment section below. Extra is on Wednesday, 10 p.m. people. So make sure you're there for Big Six Extra on the official channel. Link in the description below. And yeah, we're going to wrap it up here, call it a night. It's nearly 1 a.m. Love for the love, people. We are out. Peace.